What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Kind of Funny podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, and let me give a shout out to Cole the Wiener Dog. Because what's been happening is, Roger, this dog got separation anxiety. So when we leave the house now, I go, Echo, play the Kind of Funny podcast. And this dog's had to sit through me and Nick talking about Superman costumes for so long. But in that one, I passed it too quickly. So he didn't hear my voice. So Cole, you're a good boy. Don't bark so loud the neighbors text us. Is something wrong? Aww. Just be cool, Cole. Be chill.
You get
That's so funny.
I do. Yeah. Because he doesn't. When Jen leaves the house, and all of us, but mainly Jen, he doesn't bark. He like screams like a person.
What a great idea. I need to do this.
Yeah, turn it up and it works. It's dampened
sure.
it. It's dampened it for sure.
Wow.
So Cole, we're just in the kitchen. Don't worry. Ben fell down. We're taking care of Ben, Cole. That's how you do it. From now on, I'll open the show every time like that. Isn't that right? The Lock. Roger Picorni.
Hi, Greggy.
How you doing? Fuck. Now I feel better because I hit my knee, hit my mic, it hit me, and nobody noticed. So then
I noticed.
Huh?
I did.
You didn't say anything though, did you?
No.
Because he's
So
nice like
shut
that.
your fucking mouth. All right.
Here
We'll
we
get to you in a
freaking
second.
go.
All right. Of course, he's the master of Souls likes. It's Snow Bike Mike.
What up, Greg?
How you
Just
doing?
Chilling in the back today.
I'm surprised you had time to come in here and not go beat Melania 19th time.
I'm the GOAT. That's what a lot of people are saying. I'm just the GOAT. I don't
Too
have
much
to say
power.
anything more, Roger.
We can't say that
The
Mike
way
is good at
he's
anything.
sitting is so, and this is such a dated reference, the Tom Green show where they had his best friend who sat in the back just in a picture window who laughed the entire time.
Okay.
That's what you're getting
That's
right
what
now.
I'm going to get you
I
today.
like that a lot. Thanks to shout out to all my other 40 to 45-year-old
The guy
people.
from, he was in Charlie's Angels, right?
Yeah, he was for one scene. Yeah.
Many
He was
Many
also
scenes.
in,
Love
Love
the
the
scenes.
Chad.
nope, just the one.
Not
Let's
true.
watch it right now.
Did you watch Road Trip? Remember we told you
No,
to
I did
watch
not
Road
fucking
Trip.
watch Road Trip. I did
Roger.
not
Fuck,
Yeah.
Anthony
outside.
Rapp's in that. Anthony Rapp comes to the
like
office
that.
once in a while.
He's never come to this office.
It's true.
So, I mean, until he comes to this office, then I'll watch Road Trip with him.
With him.
Wait, Tom Green?
No, Anthony Rapp.
Oh,
Well, Tom Green might be coming too.
Anthony Rapp is in Road Trip. Tom
Yes,
Green's
yeah,
in
okay,
Road
cool.
Trip. You know what I mean?
Tom
That's
Green
it.
almost came to the spare bedroom.
I don't remember that.
I don't either.
It was through you, but it
was
just
through
didn't
me.
happen.
Well, I'm very popular.
Listen up and do
that.
Thank you very much. Great pull, Kevin. Great pull, Kevin. What was the connection? What did he do?
I don't remember, but like it was one of my first times being excited about a guest that you brought because the
Damn,
amount of
that's
guests
awesome.
you're like, I'm gonna bring this person. I'm like, I don't know who the fuck they are.
It
You're like
happened
Tom
once,
Green, and I was like,
once with Christine Lakin, and I got to
Which
hear
is
about it the rest of my
shocking.
fucking
you really
life.
do. You
I
really
was
do.
so excited when you guys had Christine Lakin on. Step by
God,
step. Come
one of
on.
the worst moments of my life when I was like, Nick and Tim, they just don't have it like I do.
No.
Yeah.
They just don't have. They couldn't fake it for 2 seconds.
No.
Go. Oh, I don't know who you are. Fuck.
That's fucked up. That's
Fuck
fucked.
me.
Now, to be clear, and like the record will show because you could watch the video. I handled it as good as me at that point, a 21-year-old boy
Yeah.
possibly could have done. You know, I didn't say, oh, I don't know who the fuck you are in a bad way. Nick did. Nick should have known. You know what I mean?
I've never heard of you. Your career doesn't matter.
I was leaning into the content way of like, oh, I don't know, but like, let's
Like,
have
let's
a good
try
time.
to- yeah,
like,
yeah.
this is so funny, whatever. Yeah, no, Nick's the one that made that a little hard on all of us. And then immediately that made it very hard for me because now I'm like, well, now I look like a complete asshole not knowing what's going on right now.
So who's
Yeah,
she?
pretty much.
So what?
You stay out of this. All right.
Good question.
You stay out of this.
So I don't
I've had
know.
her hear for 2 days straight now how young you are from my wife. All
Yeah.
right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she looked at me.
Yeah.
She was blown away that I was 25.
She's Christmas, ladies and gentlemen, in July. It's Joey Noel.
Hello.
How are you, Joey?
I'm as best as I can be. It's been a long weekend.
Yeah.
That's accurate. That's accurate. That's accurate.
You know?
It was a lovely, you came and visited on your way to wine country. I
Oh, yeah.
appreciated that.
Maybe not the smartest. I mean, it was a wonderful idea, but I did not expect to be walking out between Andrew and I with like 18 bottles of wine.
Christ.
But here we are, poor John Drake having to schlep it through the airport for her.
What a classic, man. You know what
He's
I
a
mean?
great guy.
Classic, man.
Real quick before we move on from the age thing, like I was thinking about this a lot in the last week that Nick, me, and Roger are 10 years apart
Insane.
each.
Oh, really?
Nick and Roger are 20 years apart.
It could be Roger's
Look,
dad.
I hadn't
Oh,
thought
yeah.
about
Yeah.
that number. And
That's
that's
wild.
crazy.
Holy shit.
That is
Him and me being 10
super
years,
wild.
I'm like, all right, you feel like
Yeah.
the Nick to me to you. I'm like, I get
Yeah.
it. I get it. You know what I mean?
And then-
But like Nick to you,
The Roger
That's
and Nick is
wild.
I'm not okay with it.
No.
Nick's very old.
He is.
We make jokes about it, but it's true.
Yeah. And Blessing's 30 now.
Really quick, I can do
Also
the math. When you first started Kind of Funny, how old were you?
25.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
How much he did with his life. You know
I
what
know,
mean?
right? That's
You know what I mean?
fuck. God damn.
You're
I
here
gotta
just
start a new
watching
company.
wrestling documentaries while you edit TikToks.
I really am, bro. I'm watching so many. I'm banging out like 4 documentaries per workday. It's
Sometimes
insane.
I turn over and I see you doing. I'm like, what a great place to work.
It really is. It's a blessing.
Fucking IG and nailing my hands to the wall. I'm just like that wrestling documentary on the entire time. And of course, he's Forbes 30 under 30, aka the second best baby blues in San Francisco, aka the married one at Tim Geddes.
Tim Geddes.
Come on. Let
Joey
him host.
cracked the champagne.
You might have to do this one.
I might have to crack the champagne.
Oh, shit. It's being cracked. Oh, wow. It's
Holy shit,
actual
that's
champagne.
huge.
This
you
is
brought
the
big
Magnum bottle I bought with Andrea.
So
Oh, I thought this was
17 to
from
go.
Costco.
Yes.
I slacked Joey last night, and I was like, remind me to go across the street to buy champagne for this podcast since Tim's married. And she goes, actually, I just bought a Magnum of champagne. I was like, how expensive was it? She's like, not that bad. I was like, bring it and expense it.
Joey walked in with this, and I didn't even question it. I didn't even think about it
so
for a
scared.
second.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. So funny.
We
Love
got
it.
cups, everybody.
Congratulations, Tim.
Thank you so much. And again, I
Congratulations,
said this
Tim.
on camera, off camera, everything in between. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you, everyone, in your own ways for helping me out, coming through. Both Joey and Greg gave speeches. The very limited speech placement that we had, because trust me, I wish that I could have had every single person I've ever met give me a speech because I wanted to hear it. But I'm very
want my
happy
speech.
that these two did. Roger helped me so much with a lot of the imagery and like kind of just getting the base level of like when we're not doing anything special on stage. I need something to look dope. Roger helped me out with that so much and the timeline and things like that. And then Mike out there hosting his goddamn little heart out. We had most people have their little like you walk in, you check in, you do like sign a guest book or something. Instead, I was like, I want Mike to host video messages, video interviews out there. And I was like, I know there's gonna be a lot going on, so it's probably not gonna work out that well. But if there's anyone I can just put in charge of this to just do it, it's Snowbike Mike, and he showed the fuck
Got
up.
a
So
couple.
thank you for that very much.
Got a couple. He said
And then,
that.
of course, Kevin, who's running the show right now. I've thanked him so much, and I'm going to continue to for the rest of my life. Oh, there he is.
Yay!
There he is, everybody.
Kevin, I have a.
Kevin, come over here and do a cheers with us. Come get your cup.
Yeah, no, Kevin, we'll talk about a lot in the show, I'm sure. But me and him have been working together my entire life. Like, honestly, since I was 4, he was 3. We've been doing so many productions. Like, legitimately, I would say our first production when I was like 11 years old or something. And like, Kevin was the guy. He was, I've always
Hold
been
on,
the
say for the
Leonardo.
cheers.
He's always been the Donatello. Cool Gray's the Michelangelo. It's been happening forever. And this wedding in particular was the moment to show that of like, this was a Tim and Kevin production. Like we fully went in on everything of like, let's push ourselves as hard as we possibly can. Let's try to do things we've never done before. And we're going to pull it off. And we did. So
And you
cheers to
did.
Kevin.
To
Cheers.
Kevin, to
Cheers.
Tim and G, and everybody.
Tim and
To the Geddes
To the
wedding.
death of
death
our
of
enemies.
our
Congratulations, everybody. Raise a glass at home. If you're driving, do it when the cops aren't looking. Before we go any further, you know, it's funny. Come on. I'm about to joke about the Kind of Funny
Come
podcast.
on.
You know what I mean? Didn't know it was a kind of serious podcast. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
He's drunk after
I'm
that
not
one.
getting it. I had 2 beers at lunch. A little housekeeping before we go. Of course, this is the Kind of Funny podcast each and every week. 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table, each coming to talk about whatever it is that's going on in their lives. If you like that, of course, support us with the Kind of Funny membership over on Patreon or YouTube. You can give us $10 and you can get all of our shows ad-free. You get the ability to watch this podcast live as we record it. All of our afternoon podcasts live as we record it. Just like JG is. Nick Gallegos is. I've heard of that name before. And of course, as I saw earlier, Benedict Arnold himself, Olive Party is.
I don't want to give him any shit. Like,
Tim's
Olive
been
Party,
wanting to
I love
beat
you
Olive
so much.
Party's ass for so long, and here it is. This is your chance. Take him to
I
school.
feel like
Take
I've
him to
missed
church.
out on a beat.
Okay, real quick. I just want to say this. Like, can you give me the one, Kev? Olive Party, honestly, I love you. You did nothing wrong. No, you did nothing wrong. I want you to know that. But for people that don't know, we did the stream of the wedding that was sponsored by NVIDIA. And we made it clear we're not going to put a VOD up. You know what I mean? Olive
Some would
Party
say crystal clear.
recorded the stream and posted it himself. and people were able to watch it. I just want this to be clear. I didn't ask you to take it down. I didn't necessarily want you to take it down. There's a lot of things at play here. More than anything, I just can't believe that my wedding was pirated. And that people were interested enough to want to see a pirated version of my wedding. It warms my heart. So Olive Party, if anything, thank you. I love you and I appreciate you. But I also appreciate you taking it down because I am hard at work on an edit of this. Of course, I'm going to share this with everybody. Kevin and I worked very hard to make sure that every single camera possible was recording this thing. And yes, we're going to put up a VOD. When? I don't know. I do not know. No promises at all. But I want you to know there is nothing I care about in this world more than being able to relive this night as much as possible, as soon as possible. So I'm on it. Don't worry. But Olive Party, I still love you. Greg, you can say whatever you want, though.
Thank you, Kevin. Give me my one.
Oh, no.
You wouldn't steal a car. Why would you steal a wedding? Over here, Tristan says, hey, I watched that pirated copy because I missed it. Well, you owe us fucking $10.
$10.
How do you feel?
No, on some real shit.
I guess actually he's paying it because he's watching right now. So he's like, God damn it, beat me to it.
There we go. I know there's a lot of jokes to make about this and all of that, but I will say that I, in so many ways in my life, I think back to like how I got here and like the things that meant something to me, and I cannot explain to you how important it was to watch bootleg copies of old concerts or just live shows or performances. In fact, listening to Tone Deaf perform Optimus Live before that song was ever even released. I've watched it on YouTube so many times of him just at a concert live, and I got to perform it with him at my wedding, which was absolutely unreal. And I just really appreciate it because even if you see the version that we streamed, which was amazing, but like a tenth as cool as what the edited version is going to be.
Yeah.
We had to stick to one camera, or we switched a little bit, but like that was live, and like we weren't able to like use all the cameras we had planned. I get the excitement when you care about something so much that you just want to see it, and then you get to see it, and that only hypes you up more for when the actual thing comes out, and then you get to see how it really is meant to be. I also realize how pretentious I sound right now, that anybody would give a fuck to care about watching my wedding once, let alone more than once. But hey, you guys
Your
do.
wedding wasn't a normal
So
wedding.
thank you very much for that. Honestly, like it means the world, and all of this is so exciting, so thrilling. I love every single person here and every single person watching or listening right now. You are the best.
I sent the pirated version to my mother, so she owes us $10 now. That's an
I love
issue.
that.
You hate to
Damn,
see
that's
it.
tough.
Yeah, that's tough.
It's like
I have to
The
ask
Ring.
my parents for money because
What?
they watched it
It's like
live.
The Ring.
Oh,
Once you see The Ring, like you owe $10.
7 days.
It's like The Ring.
Yeah.
Is there a
It's not The Ring.
did you also get a phone call with The Ring? Was that also that, or was that
That
a
was
different
to tell
movie?
you have 7 days.
Okay, so then you would watch it, and then they would be like, "Yo, by the way, you got
Did you
7
get a
days."
phone call? Did it go some shit like that?
No, I think you got the phone call, and it was like, "Yo,
7
7
days.
days,
That
motherfucker."
sounds about right.
Quote.
Yeah, that might have been.
Ghosts
scary
just
movie.
don't do that anymore. I hate that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm getting
Oh,
the
Bathsheba.
Yeah. Oh, Bathsheba.
cell phones, you know?
Always in the fucking basement. Get out of the basement.
The ghosts only know landlines.
Yeah, I know, right? That's how we're going to beat them and get past them. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you have no Kind of Funny membership, no big deal. We post it on YouTube. We post it on podcast services, no matter where you get the Kind of Funny podcast. Thank you. Consider supporting on patreon.com/kindoffunny or youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, just like our Patreon producers did. Carl Jacobs, Nathan Lamoth, Alex J. Sandoval, James Hastings, and Casey Andrew. They were brought to you by NVIDIA, GeForce, and BetterHelp, but we'll talk to you about that later. For now, it's about Tim's wedding. Now, Tim, I've been talking to you a long time. Mm-hmm. More recently, one of the things you said when I was like, oh, obviously, Kind of Funny podcast is going to be about your wedding. You had said, I almost wish I wasn't on it so I could just hear stories from it. So honestly, I'd like you to drive, because obviously there's a million questions I have of like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
when did you start planning this or that or whatever? But like, what do you want to know as the man of the hour who's done all this stuff?
I mean, honestly, I want to hear everything. Like, I want it to be known. I have not worked harder on anything in my entire life, and
Insulting.
I've worked very hard on a lot of things.
Yeah.
I've poured my entire heart into multiple Kind of Funny live events, the studio launch, so many things, prom. This was different, obviously, for a million reasons. And it was different because from day one, I was like, if we're going to have a wedding, like, all right, let me start here. Gia and I have been married for 5 years, like officially on the record.
What?
It's what a reveal. Also, the funniest thing, like
Has it really been 5?
something
guess
like
that
that.
is,
Maybe
yeah.
even more, actually. I don't know.
It's
Since
prior.
2018.
Pandemic, right?
Since
Yeah.
2018. So, like, it's been a long time here. Mike,
Uh-oh.
I just want you to know when your father announced that
Yeah.
during his speech,
We all acted
there was
dumb.
about 12 people who were in front of me that all looked absolutely shocked
Yeah.
because they did not know that at all.
So the
They
whole
were
wedding started with the
stunned.
welcome speech from Gia's dad, and he straight up fucking exposed us. Like
So
it was
funny.
a quote unquote secret. Like it was not really a secret. Like I never, if anyone ever asked me, I was honest with them. I was not hiding anything, but we'd always been like, all right, like we got married a long time ago because A, we're in love, and B, we're just like, it's gonna be better for us in our life as the partnership that we have. So that happened a long time ago.
Ice?
I thought it was cold enough, but I'll take some ice if you're doing it. Sure. Thanks, Joe.
But the biggest thing is
If Joey's in, I'm in.
we were going to have a big wedding. Like go for it.
And so to interrupt, because people are like, holy hell, that's wild. What a twist. Like, you got married just for a legal thing. It wasn't
Literally
like you did
legal.
anything.
Yeah. No, it was here's the thing. Thank you for bringing that up because I
It wasn't like there was a thing on a private ceremony.
no, we went to City Hall, signed the papers, did the thing, and walked away to the point that we looked at each other and were like, I don't want to remember this date.
Wow.
I don't want to know what the date is. I don't want pictures. I don't want anything. Like this is
just
legal.
paper.
This is all the taxes and all that stuff. But like, this is not our wedding. And then it was like, all right, well, when we got engaged in 2019, which a lot of you have seen, thank you for that. I put a lot of effort into that as well. We were like, we're going to get married in 2021. We want a 2-year engagement. But then, of course, the pandemic happened. That changed everything. And then it was like, all right, the conversation started of, oh shit, we're going to get a studio. Then it was like, we should get married at the studio. And then the studio got delayed. And so it kind of just turned into this
Thanks, Raj.
ongoing thing of like, oh, delay after delay after delay of like, oh man, like this just is not working out for us. And hit a point that I thought we're not going to do a wedding. Like it's just not going to happen. Gia wanted it so bad. And the reason Gia wanted it is her family rolls really, really deep. My family does not. I pretty much do not have a family in the traditional sense. I have you guys, and I love you guys. And like real talk, like anybody that literally has listened to us for the last 10 years or whatever knows I don't got friends, I got family. In the other way, you know what I mean? Of like my friends are my family, and it kind of was a little weird for me where I'm like, I don't know why you want to do this so much, G. Like whatever, and it literally took a couple funerals in her life for me to realize like, oh shit, her family is so deep and so connected that they care about each other and they care about these moments. They can all come together so much that I need to give this to them because the way that their family works in terms of like ages, this was the first positive time for them all to get together in almost a decade. Like Gia was the first of a generation of children that there's now like 8 past her. But even then, she's 7 years older than her little sister. Her little sister is 5 years older than like all the other kids who were here that were like 21, which is crazy as hell. Because I met them when they were very, very, very small. But that to me, I was like, okay, cool, we got to do this. And then Gia was like, Tim, we can't do this unless we do it the Getty's way.
Yeah, of course.
And so I just really love that and I appreciate it because I was like, God, that's so much pressure for me. And like, oh my God, this is about to be insane. But I was like, if we're going to do this, we have to do it right. And I have to give every single thing I have into this because that's what you want me to do. And so I just want to start this off because I know there's been a lot of people being like, oh, Tim's forcing Gia to do this or that or whatever. That is so far from the truth. Like I pushed back on her and I was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Like this is going to be so hard for me and whatever. And I was like, but if we're going to do it,
We're gonna fucking do it.
we're going to fucking do it. And that's exactly what the fuck we did.
Hell yeah,
So
you did.
that's kind of the origin story of all of it. But sorry. I
How
went off on a
long would you
tangent there.
actively say you planned it? Like, obviously, there's the, oh, I want to do this, I want to do it. But like,
Yeah.
when did it actually begin? Like, okay, now we're really doing this.
I would say 6 months,
Shit, fuck.
probably.
Okay.
Like not nearly as long as I would have wanted to or liked. Like she was trying to push to get it done in February and it was November last year.
Gotcha.
And I was like, that's not going to happen because February means a lot to us. It's the month that we met, the month we got engaged. It's like, that
Black
would be
History
great.
Month.
That would be great if we could like, my brother was born that month. Her sister was born that month. Like February is a very us month. And I kept being like, I'm just being real. Like, I know you want this to happen for your family and stuff, but like, there's no way we can pull this off like that. And so I was like, as much time as I can get, let's go. And then we looked and we saw that June 29th, which is the day before my birthday, there was a Saturday. And it was like, what if we just did that? And like, I quote unquote won that argument. And thank God I did. Because February 16th, when we were going to do this at the studio, was pouring rain outside. The day we did it.
Beautiful.
The most beautiful day San Francisco has ever
The
had.
sky was perfect Tim Geddes blue.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
gorgeous.
It was
Yeah.
insane.
Temperature.
And so yeah, all of that was like so special, but it was it's been nuts. I mean, all of you guys know, like, I've been in a zone recently working on this shit. And again, so much of this came down to me being like, all right, well, if we're gonna do this, we're going all out. And again, people that have listened to me for a long time know how much I care about the Kind of Funny Lives, entrances, like all the big things. There are songs I hear that I replay in my mind over and over and over. Like Monty Oum, who is the like, rest in peace, creator of Ruby, worked on Red versus Blue. Before that, so many internet videos, so inspirational to me, like a huge part of why I am who I am. He would always talk about listening to music and seeing edits in his head. And it was the first time I ever felt seen listening to somebody online talk, where I'm like, whoa, that's how I am.
Yeah.
Like, and Raj, I know you're this way too.
Absolutely.
It's like, oh, whoa, that's how I see life. When something amazing happens, something special happens, a WWE My Way or the Highway rock promo, right? Like, some things are just so perfect that you can't separate the song from the moment. And that's how every KFL intro's been, entrance has been, all of that. And there's been a couple songs I've heard in my life that I'm like, I can't ever use that. Man of Steel theme song's one of those things. It's just too good.
Yeah.
It's perfect music. And I was like, all right, there's that, and then there's the orchestra version of Sandstorm. And I'm like, I just can't, we can't use these things. They're
Two perfect songs.
they're literally too fucking good. And I was trying to come up with like what the wedding's gonna be. And I listened to those songs, I'm like, it's time. I'm going to use those songs.
In case of emergency, break
Yeah.
glass.
And I was like, I need to make sure that whatever show I put on lives up to how these songs make me feel and how hype and fucking awesome it is. And I was like, that's the only way I can show the love I have for Gia, is using the best things ever. And that's kind of where the whole conversation started. So very long way of answering your question.
Love it.
But that's it.
This is your show, buddy.
Yeah.
All right. Don't worry about being long-winded about it.
This is the stuff that I want to hear.
Yeah.
Like, let's get in the nitty gritty.
Yeah. So that was kind of it. And then from there was off to the races of us figuring out like what is the wedding going to be. And there was a transition period of talking about it as a wedding and then talking about it as a show. And that came with a lot of politics of like what people want to hear and whatever, and family members being like, that's fucking weird or whatever. But I'll say at the end of the day, when it was all said and done, everyone was blown the fuck away. Like, her
You'll never-
family was so happy, and like as amazing a time they had with the show and everything, which I don't think I've ever seen them happier or people happier. The amount of times I heard them talk about like, wow, thank you for bringing us together for this.
Yeah.
This was so special and meant so much to us. And you guys are obviously so clearly in love. And that's the thing that I knew was going to be so clear from the jump. Me and Gia are in love. And we're both, to some extent, writers, quote unquote. I don't write. I actually hate writing itself. But like, I care about language so much. I knew our vows were going to be fucking bangers. I did not expect them to be that good. And I just love that at the end of the day, we had fun entrances and they were amazing. And I'm so proud of them from a technical level. And what we pulled off production wise, like, people can just be like, oh, like, they're so like narcissistic and all this shit.
No.
There's an art and a craft that goes into all this stuff that like I want to be remembered for. And I feel like I've done a very good job of doing that. And again, Kevin's been with me every single day to make that all happen. And I can trust him to pull it all off. And putting that much love and care into every entrance means so much to Gia. And she knows that it's the way that I show my love. So everyone felt that in the room, and the 6,000 people watching live at any given moment, they felt that too. Yeah. So like, I don't want to come off defensive in any way right now, because it is way more on a positive tip, but like, I'm so proud. I've never been more proud of anything I've ever done.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense, and I think it shows. You're talking about the family getting that, and I think that was. It reminded me so much of Kind of Funny Live 1 and even Prom to a degree, right? Where you can put family members who are like, that's weird or whatever. You can also put audience members in there who, when we're like, oh, it's sponsored, like, that's weird, or right? And it was such a thing of, I remember when Kind of Funny Live 1 was like, what are they, why are they charging this much for a live podcast? What are they're doing a prom and they're doing this. What does that mean? And then when people got there and saw it, it was that light bulb moment of like, oh, this isn't what I thought. You know, I thought in the lead up to your wedding and people being like, sponsored, that's weird. They're, I think, picturing the minister and the church and the wedding. They're not thinking of it being on a 4K video wall with all of your dumb friends in Cisco over there. You know what I mean? Like it being a completely different thing and being designed around that.
And us pushing the studio in ways we never have. Like that was kind of me and Kevin from the jump being like, what can we do here that is really going to allow us to open up our creativity to try to do live events in the studio? This is our proof of concept of like pushing things further. And I've since day one thought about this. Like I came up with all the entrances, and me and G, this was 1,000% a collaborative effort. Like I cannot believe how many of the ideas were hers. Me officiating the wedding was not my idea.
That's awesome.
Was her. And like,
and for the record, if you didn't watch it live, that's again, we are talking as if everybody who's listening or watching this podcast experienced the live stream of the wedding. You can imagine the video wall. You can imagine the entrances. You can imagine, you're referencing the Man of Steel, right? Like the opening of the wedding is your friends and family on black in the void being interviewed with the Man of Steel theme behind it of like, who is Tim? Who is Gia? And then you transition to this package that's incredible.
So beautiful.
Going through all the years of your life, starting, of course, with like
my birth,
your birth, right? Yeah, here Kevin's got the ear up right now, killing it, Kev. Of all your friends talking about it, and then popping over, to this incredible, your literal birth, your mom going to the hospital, Kevin. If you can dial it back to that, of like your mom going to the, or is it? Yes, where it starts, right? Mom going to the hospital, then this, then into it, like just an incredible thing of like this wasn't a wedding. This and it was. It's not like a wedding you've ever been to. It's not. I've never been to a wedding like this, nor will I ever be. Even if somebody else throws a wedding at the studio, it won't be like this.
Yeah.
Where it was like such a union and fusion of what it was and what you guys were doing and the build to it and the pomp and circumstance. And then again, to what you're talking about officiating the wedding, like your entrance as somebody who has seen you descend from the rafters, you know what I mean? Come out on stage in your suit to be in a presidential debate with Troy Baker moderating. Like I've seen you and how you do entrances before. Like your entrance, as we're seeing right here, was on such a different level of...
Kev, don't show this yet. I want to actually, like, if there's one thing I want to sit and watch with you guys, it's my entrance.
Yeah.
So like let's keep that for a little bit, but continue.
I mean, get it ready right now, Kev, because again, what I was going to call out is the timing of it, where I'm like, as a performer and a shitty performer who usually just takes off his shirt and drinks a beer and screams at people, right? Like watching you hit timing cues that we don't do in this studio. We don't perform like that here or at PAX or at Kind of Funny Live even, you know what I mean? Like watching you do that in the audience, I was in awe of like, he's nailing this. And this is like literally like you have to hear the beat and know on that pace what the next thing is.
Yeah. He's hitting that shit, bro.
Yeah.
Before we watch it, Joey, Raj, you seem to have something to say.
Well, no, I just wanted to say, like, for me, this was an extraordinarily beautiful wedding because I edited and worked on so many fucking weddings, and like, not to talk shit about weddings, but weddings are sometimes bullshit. Of like, especially when we are just blindly following the traditions that have been put forth in, hey, we have to do this, we have to do that. So to see you guys kind of like break all of that was so
make something so wholly unique.
Exactly. And like was super inspiring. And like, I had to stay off the internet because like I was getting emotional because I was like, bro, I can't, to me, this is the most beautiful thing in the world because I know this is both of you guys, right? I see Gia, I see you in this entire production. And to me, that is what a union should be. Like that's what a wedding should be is, hey, let me just put as much of our love, our family out there into this world in a unique way that everybody in the room will love and enjoy and can celebrate. So like, yeah, I just thought it was so beautiful.
And sorry, I know I just asked you too, but like to respond to that, like I thank you so much. And that just means that we got across what we were trying to, because when we decided, hey, we're going to do this, like me and her had a conversation. We're like, we don't need to do this. Like we're actually married. And also everyone knows we're in love. And like, it is what it is. Like we don't need to like do this, you know? And I remember having a conversation with her that was like, hey, if we're going to do this, I don't want it to just be the Tim show at all.
Yeah.
Like this needs to be about us. And like we went back and forth on like, we need to name the event. Which I know a lot of this sounds crazy to people listening of like, why'd you need to name the event? We had to because it's us. Like,
I was gonna say real quick. I mean, fuck those people.
no,
It's your wedding,
Full
and
stop.
clearly it's us and you and everything else. Yeah.
But weddings mean a lot to people, and it means a lot in a specific way to a lot of people. I don't know if anyone has been to more weddings than me and Gia, like in this office. Like, and maybe they have, but like we go to a lot, and it's because we are part of many close knit groups of friends that stay in touch and.
Just Mike cashing this fucking bottle.
We've been to a lot of weddings, and I would say that the majority of them have been very impressive. Like, there are some that I'm like, oh, this wasn't good, whatever.
Sure.
But like anybody that I actually love and care about, they had a great wedding. Like, there are at the very least multiple moments that I'm like, that was the best of that thing that I've ever seen at a wedding. So shout out to that. Like, it's hard to throw a wedding, even in a traditional sense. And we've learned a lot, and we were only able to do what we did and break the rules that we did because we knew how to do it right from other people. And with that, I wanted to make sure that ours was a wedding at the end of the day. Like, I wanted for it to be official and for it to be real and to have the moments we needed to have, but also cut anything we don't need to do. You know, I wore my ring fucking on stage because I'm like, this ring's dope as shit, and I want to be on stage showing it off. Like,
You guys came out together before the wedding, and like,
Yeah.
you didn't do that whole thing.
All that stuff was
your
like
entrance outside.
yeah. Like, we're good with that stuff. But we wanted to make sure that was all special. But a big thing that I want to say, because this might not be clear to even people that watch the live stream or people that are going to watch the VOD eventually, like
2026.
hopefully way sooner than that.
Let's just set. You know,
But I don't want to say anything about that. But for this event, this is not a Kind of Funny live. Like, this is Tim and Gia's wedding. This is Getty's live on stage. It was originally going to be called 50 Shades of Blue, which still means a lot to us. Like, 50 Shades of Grey was the movie we met, where we met watching it, which is hilarious. And of course, blue and all that, whatever. And that still was kind of the theme of the wedding in the sense of everyone. I asked everybody to wear blue, and I cannot believe how much everyone showed up. Like the moment that I first got incredibly emotional was before the wedding even started, when we walked outside and everyone was here in the tent. And everyone was wearing blue, and it looked incredible. Everyone showed up, and everyone dressed so well. I was, including Mike. I'm not going to let anyone give
we're not
Mike
doing
shit.
this. We're not doing this.
He said
No, we're not.
including Mike.
We're not fucking doing this, everybody. Give me 5 seconds, everybody.
Don't give him 5.
Before the wedding, Mike and I looked at Mike and I'm like, what are you wearing? He's like, I don't know. I got anything slappy.
Cash.
He's like, let's go to Kohl's. I'm like, every time we go to Kohl's, you regret it because it's bullshit and there's nothing there and there's like 3 options. We're going to the Nordstrom Rack.
what I appreciate is like a week before this.
Yeah.
When we were doing the production, like at Tim's wedding, and Mike's like, all right, but what do we wear? What do you actually wear? Hey, do we have to wear blue? And Tim's like, please wear blue, but you don't have to. Do whatever you want. And then I'll wear blue. And then you were like, you're gonna go to Kohl's the day before.
So that it was 2 days before. So not a day before, but 2 days before. We go to Nordstrom Rack, and I'm like, okay, let's get something nice. He goes to the fitting room. He picks out pants. You got
and
a nice,
t-shirt and a tie,
not t-shirt, a nice button-up shirt.
Yeah.
You got a tie and everything. And by the way, the tie situation, I wasn't gonna wear a tie because I was like, I know this is gonna be not casual, but like it's a Tim Getty's wedding. You know, it's maybe it's optional. Mike looks at me, he's like, you gotta wear a tie, Slappy. You gotta wear a tie, right? So he buys a tie. I get a tie. We leave. And then he shows up at the wedding wearing a completely different outfit than what he bought.
Do you want to hear?
Completely different outfit. What he had. Yeah, continue.
I get home from spending the morning at their house doing hair and makeup. Gia's getting ready. We're having bagels. It's a great time. We're hanging out. I get home. Mike's car is gone. I'm like, and it's probably like 2:33-ish. I'm like, where the fuck is Mike? Mike went shopping the day of your wedding.
So why did you go shopping again?
I went to Macy's. I wanted to get something nice that's blue.
But
And
you
so I
got
found-
something nice that's blue.
Well, I went all black. I went all black at Kohl's with Roger or Nordstrom Rack. And so I went to Macy's and I went around and I bought myself a brand new pair of pants. Even though I already bought a pair of pants, I bought a new pair of pants. Then I bought another blue button up and a tie.
So so then he come.
What happened to all these ties?
You didn't even wear a single
Didn't even
tie to
wear
the
a tie,
wedding.
didn't I had a tie in my back pocket the whole time. though.
Not to mention, Mike also brought like a party shirt for after.
Just in case.
So here's the thing.
Just in case.
I see him. He comes up and he's like, do that thing. And I'm like fucking so mad. I'm like, Mike, you fucking idiot. I can't believe this. And I'm like, why didn't you just wear the thing you wore before? Why didn't you just wear a tie?
Yeah.
And he looks me dead in the eyes and he says, Roger, in all seriousness, when you make the character, you can do whatever you want. And that was scary. That was like Homer Simpson looking in the camera and saying, I can choke Bart as long as
No, but real talk, I love that.
insane.
I that is scary to
Gee,
hear in words, but I love
we gassed
it.
him up too much in SGF.
Mike, I love it as an emotion, man.
Thank
Seeing
you,
what
Tim.
you wore at my wedding, I appreciate it, dude. You listen to me. I told you, be comfortable, just wear blue.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you did.
Oh, sorry.
Blue,
Oh, what was
stay
he wearing
comfy,
underneath?
Cash.
What were you underneath?
Wore my
That fucking black
Superman
Superman
t-shirt,
shirt you
yeah.
wear usually when you
And
sleep.
Cameron-
That's the thing you wear on the plane. You wear
Cameron
an
Kennedy
undershirt.
saw me and he
I
goes-
can see it.
He goes, that looks beat up. I go, no, that's battle worn.
We have given Mike too much credit and like
character.
this is an issue.
I love
Had a
it.
great wedding. It was beautiful. A lot of blue, Tim. Loved being outside with everybody. Got some great messages from some beautiful couples to Tim and Gia, which was really, really special. And yeah, I dressed
Because you were the guest
and I was
book.
ready. Yeah.
Again,
I-
if people didn't know, Mike was the guest
Yeah,
book.
yeah.
Rather than have a guest book, we had Mike with a stick, Mike interviewing people.
And you know, Cisco looked at me and said, Mike, you look great. So that's a win.
That's really all
my
that
God.
matters.
all that
That's
matters.
really
It's
all
true.
that matters.
But
But
dragging it.
taking this back for a second, like the moment of walking out, seeing everyone in blue, like it
Beautiful.
meant so much to me. And like people looked so fucking good. And again, Mike, I mean that. I'm not kidding. Like I
No, you look
loved
great.
seeing the way that
Thank
you
you.
looked. Like just seeing everyone show up wearing blue and the 50 shades of blue. It was incredibly special to me. Like
Yeah.
my brother, I stressed to him, I'm like, be comfortable, man. Like I do not want you. Weddings can be hard when it comes to like having a dress when you're not trying to dress like that. But then the people that want to dress like that, people showed the fuck up, man. So flamboyant, so awesome. I loved it. But a big thing for me with this wedding that is not a surprise if you really know who I am, but could be a little bit weird if you only know parts of me, is I really, really, really care about the people that formed who I am and the people that made me. And I love Kind of Funny. You guys all know that. I went out of my way for this to be like, this isn't about Kind of Funny. This is about Tim and Gia and the people that made us and our history in San Francisco and our lives together. People know the Kind of Funny side. People know 2015 on like the back of their hands and everything in between. I wanted to present my friends and Gia's friends and our families the way that I'm able to present us every day. Sure. And the way that I'm able to at Kind of Funny Live give us all entrances. You haven't had one yet. Both of you haven't had one yet. That's incredible to me.
Oh, Mike's is gonna be insane.
It's gonna be fucking awesome. But like I'm all about that.
Burlap sack.
I wanted this wedding to show to the world that the level of production that Tim Geddes has been able to get to, which is unbelievable. And I wake up every morning shocked that I get to come make content in this studio. I wanted to be able to celebrate my friends and family that I grew up with that way. And I made it a very conscious decision to, most people have their bridesmaids and groomsmen and all that stuff. We didn't traditionally do that. But I wanted to make sure that everybody that would be one of those things had a moment, whether it was a speech, whether it was being a part of the show in a certain way or whatever. And that extends in many different ways. But I really loved that I had Alfredo Diaz host
Beautiful.
the wedding. Alfredo shouldn't have gave a speech. That's not his skill set. That's not what he's good at. Like, he is fun. And the moment I was like, he's going to come out to Mac Dre's Feeling Myself. It's going to set the tone for the wedding. And he's going to be slithery as fuck. And I said that to G, and she was cracking up, and she's like, you're so fucking right. And when he came out of rehearsals and he did exactly that, it was like, yeah. That was special. We nailed it. And I wanted to make sure that in the welcome video, which was VO'd by Ben Starr, by the way.
Awesome.
Oh, that's who it was.
Oh, yes. And who was at the wedding. Ben is incredible. Ben's one of those people that I've learned from Greg Miller about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit more, that you meet people that are guests on a show that immediately become more than just a guest. They become a friend. They become family. And it's weird because you don't talk that much. But when you do talk, there's a shared love and understanding of where we're at. Ben is one of those people for me. And it's been rare for me to have these people that I'm like, oh, you're one of those guys. Yeah. Ben is. So when I hit him up, I'm like, hey, can you help me intro the wedding and intro my entrance? And he was like, anything you need, obviously. That meant so much to me. But him being able to be like, welcome to Getty's Live on Stage, doing the traditional Tim thing of directed by and featuring and this and that. I wanted to make sure that every single person in that intro was as OG as you can possibly get to me in my life, to where I've gotten. Like, I love, again, I keep saying this. I know you guys get it, but it's like, I did not want to shout out Greg Miller at the wedding. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to do it. Having said that, I wanted Greg to give a speech. You know, when it came to the speeches, which are one of the most important parts of a wedding, Joey, Greg, Curran, my best friend since I was a little kid, and Jenna, Gia's sister, they were the speeches. That felt right to me. You know, it's like, y'all can give a speech. Joey, I put you on the spot. Like, I that's not necessarily your skill set, but you showed the fuck up and you did it.
You did great, Joe.
Because you are such a good example of somebody that is equal friends, Tim and Gia.
Yeah.
You know? And I think everyone did a great job with that. But in the intro, I really wanted to be special to everyone in the room that understood what got me to this. And Moose and Toretto were included, which they're new additions to the Getty's family.
So funny.
You know? But the intro was Welcome to Getty's Live on Stage, directed by Kevin Coelho, hosted by Alfredo Diaz. That meant a lot to me. Because it's like, I'm about to tear up right now. But like, that's what this was about. It's like, we were little kids with a fucking camcorder.
Yeah.
And we got to do this now, you know? And Gia knows them both so well in different ways. That was all so special to me. And that was kind of the theme of it. And then when it goes into the intro, which was like Netflix documentary style breakdowns of asking them questions shot in the studio, of how long have you known Tim? How long have you known Gia? Like, when did you know they were in love? Like, those are all our closest friends from our entire lives, but like up until Kind of Funny. Like that was the thing. I was like, I could easily involve every single person, but I was like, no. Like, this is about, I want to present them the way that we get to present ourselves all the time. And if there's anything I'm most proud of from the night, is I think I did an amazing job of that. Like, I feel like I was able to put the Tim Getty's, Gia Getty's friendships on display, because that's who makes us who we are. And their support of all this bullshit, honestly, it's bullshit. This is silly. We were sponsored by NVIDIA. They loved that, you know, and like that meant a lot to me.
Yeah, I feel like it was so evident that your wedding was a love letter of like each of you to each other.
Yeah.
But also so much honoring everybody that's been in your lives in like so many different ways. And like it's hard to put a phrase on it, but it was just the energy in the room. You could tell it was just like all love.
And that was it. Every single thing every choice we made was pointed towards, how do we enhance this and make everybody feel as much as humanly possible? And even starting with, we did the traditional Tim Getty's. If you've ever been to a Kind of Funny Live, you know the countdown. There's a 15-minute countdown before it ends, and then there's the final 10 seconds that everyone counts 10, 9, 8, and then there's an actual countdown.
I was John Drake, who was next to me. Oh, we're doing it again.
Yeah. And of course we are.
Of course.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
But that countdown, even like, there's so many, and you guys got to see it on the live stream. You won't see this on the VOD. That was just for the live event. But I put so much love and care into that. Even like, everything was edited by me, or at least, I don't want to take full credit, because Cameron Kennedy, Roger, like so many people did so many, and Andy even like gave me so much shit. But like overall, like I edited it together. So that countdown, my idea was, I want to show off San Francisco. It means so much to me and G. We're both from here. We love this. I know there's a lot of problems with it, but there's so much great about it, and it made us who we are. So for the countdown, I was like, what if we started it? And what if the entire countdown was different songs about San Francisco? And so all the music was literally about San Francisco. And it started with I Left My Heart in San Francisco, Frank Sinatra shit. And it ended with some fucking like, let's get hypey stuff. But on top of that, all the video footage, it started with amazing, beautiful stock footage of San Francisco from like the most out there perspective. And as it went on, it got more and more particular to us. So it started with like all the 4K footage of drone shots and amazing Golden Gate Bridge and Coit Tower and Transamerica Pyramid and all that stuff.
Salesforce?
Salesforce was probably in some shots, but probably not.
Every time I
Unintentionally.
see Salesforce, I think of that kind of funny game showcase where you put on that little thing. They ruined our skyline.
They really did. Looks like a fucking dick. But anyways, yeah, thank you, Kat, for bringing this up. But then it transitions to movie footage of
Hell
movies
yeah.
that took place in San Francisco, and 98 Degrees video, of
Music
course.
video.
So it turned into kind of more of a very Tim Geddes pop culture fandom thing of like, here's
Tony
all
Hawk
the.
Pro Skater.
And then it turned into footage of this, and like the
You
amount of
recorded
people,
that, right?
the amount of
That's
people
you
that
playing?
thank you,
Okay,
'Cause
yes.
the amount of people that were like, "Oh, do you just get that from the
No,
internet?"
it's
I was
you.
like,
That's literally
"No,
you, right?"
Thank you, Roger. That is my creative
Yeah, of
character in
course.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and so much so that my PlayStation version that I have my created character can't do ultra wide. So I had to make a new version on Steam
Oh,
to be able to get my ultra wide edit of that. And yeah, I recorded that for
That's
this because
sick.
I was like, this means something to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know 2 people in the audience are going to realize that,
Yeah.
but I want to do it for them. But driving around or skating around SF, recording that footage, Sonic Adventure 2 footage,
Beautiful,
like all
of
the
course.
movie footage. But
Is
then
this all B-roll from a thing, or did you go film this?
no, so that is the thing. Oh fuck, I really should get the name of this. But once we get to this point, like after we get through the movies and gameplay and all that stuff, I switched to this amazing YouTuber that I found in like 2019, I think.
Oh,
And,
instructions.
I was gonna say, the place Nick will never go back inside.
Yeah, hold on, give me 1 sec. Talk for a
No,
second.
do your thing. It's amazing. I mean, while you do that, of course. What?
What was the wide?
Oh, misdirections. Back
was
in
by
the
your
old
old
days
place,
when we were
right?
when we were in the original spare bedroom, we used to go to Jenny's Burgers a lot. And
Oh,
one
yeah?
time Nick and Tim walked over there while me and Colin did whatever, some combination of all of us. Maybe Kevin was there, I forget. But walked
It was
in
me
there.
and Nick.
You and Nick walked into Misdirections, the
Just to
magic
be
shop.
clear-
That is still, me and Jen went to Underdogs for, and it was still there. We're like, how is this place still open? This guy
Joey.
must own the fucking building. But they walked in there, and the guy literally looked in and go, you can't be in here with that drink. Nick had a soda. He's like a fucking 3-year-old. He's not throwing on this shit. And
Joey-
Nick was like, I'm never coming back.
that's such a Nick story.
We had always wanted to go in. We had always wanted to go in. And like one time we were at Jenny's, I looked at him and I was like, should we go in? And he's like, yeah, let's fucking do it. Walk in immediately. The guy's like, no drinks. We're like, well, fuck these people.
True story.
No,
Sounded like such an insane story. No, it was
never
not.
go back.
Joey Yee is the YouTuber that grew up in the Richmond district, which is where I grew up in San Francisco. Seems to be similarly aged to me. He doesn't do this anymore. He moved out of SF. Unfortunately, he got kind of pushed out with how life has been. But he has an amazing YouTube channel that if you care about SF at all, I would recommend. A lot of best friends have actually hit me up and been like, hey, I'm trying to find some like gems in SF. Like, is there anything you'd recommend? I was like, look at this YouTube channel. They'll answer it for you. All this footage is from him. So I want to give a major shout out to it because it's crazy how he was able to film the city the way I see it.
And that's like
Yeah.
the way they showed Andy Town in
Yeah.
Tongue, and I was like, oh, I know those are things that are around us and mean something to us.
I mean, even right there, the Green Apple Books. Like
Yeah.
I grew up going there, and so my idea was I wanted the intro video to start big as of SF, go through the movies and video games and all that stuff, but I wanted to end where I actually grew up. So, Kev, if you even like push past, like go like 30 seconds further than this, like, we get to see like right here's
Oh, the
perfect.
buffalo.
The
Or the
buffalo
bison.
that are in the bison that are in Golden Gate Park. Like I grew up. This is Toy Boat, which is an
Oh,
ice
the
cream
ice cream place.
ice
Hell
cream
yeah.
place that I grew up going to, and it right here transitions to the Alexandria, which is a theater that's been closed down since I was I don't know probably like 15. But like this is the theater that I watched Star Wars Episode 1. Like this was like 5 blocks from the house I grew up at. Gordo's my Gordo's is on the block of that. Like it. I really wanted to hit home to the people in the audience that would see it and understand I'm starting big, but we're ending up in what SF means to me and what it means to Gia over the years. And so, yeah, that was very special to me to then go into the intro we talked about and Ben Starr and all that pomp and circumstance that you guys would kind of expect from me. But
My one thing, my addition to this story would be at your rehearsal dinner, which wasn't a rehearsal, your welcome party the night before or whatever, catching up with Ben. And like, again, I knew nothing. Hey, you cool, Rick? I knew nothing about your wedding, right? You told me nothing, with the exception that when I made a joke about the Miyamoto delayed wedding, you're like, that's in there. I was like, fuck, God, I got something. Thank God.
Greg guessed it. He was like, is Miyamoto officiating your wedding? And I was like, no, but.
And I did the thing where I was like, oh, a delayed wedding. And you're like, that. And I fucked it up. And you're still like, that's what it is. I'm like, yeah. But talking to Ben Starr at your welcome party, and he was like, yeah, I did the VO. I'm like, I knew he did VO for you.
Yeah.
He's like, I did VO. And he's like, yeah, I did one take though. And I sent it in. And then Tim said, could you do a little bit more hype? And he was like, I can't, I'm British. Like,
He did though. He did. Because his first take was amazing. And Gia will remember it for the rest of her life because I can't do it. But he did the whole featuring Moose. Toretto. And it was like, okay, we need a little bit more like uplifting, not the world is ending, and we need to like
Yeah.
summon
A
fucking
little
like,
Jason Statham.
Yeah. It was amazing though. And yeah, when he did it again, like, oh, I could not have asked for more. Like that was so good.
Yeah.
I am gonna run to the bathroom though.
No, while you do that, I'll just one final compliment as you walk away is the fact that I think, the reason I love reviewing movies with you and everything else is the idea that Tim sees everything as a whole package. And
Yeah.
in the same way, I forget what movie Jen and I just watched. And it was literally, we got to the end of it. I was like, oh, they're referencing the thing from the. I always forget that first scene when I don't know anybody in the movie. You do this thing to set up what your theme is, and I forget it all. And like the way that like their entire wedding built exactly what he's talking about of sucking in and doing this thing.
Bye, Barrett.
Oh, bye, Barrett. I was like, what is he saying? Wrap it up. Bye, Barrett. Have a great holiday. While Barrett's walking out and Tim's peeing, I'll remind you, of course, this is the Kind of Funny podcast. We do it for you. And if you are like Danielle Z or Nick, I already said Nick's name, Katie Butler, Madeline Stanley, we could do it for you live if you have that Kind of Funny membership. With the Kind of Funny membership, you get all of our shows ad-free. You get the ability to watch our afternoon podcast live as we record them. And of course, you get your daily dose of Greg Miller in Greg Way, sometimes featuring Paris Lily. However, you also get the karma of supporting a small business and having a great time and yada, yada, yada. But guess what? You're not using your Kind of Funny membership on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames or patreon.com/kindoffunny. So here's a word from our sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by our very good friends over at NVIDIA GeForce. Kind of Funny and NVIDIA GeForce have been working together for almost 4 years now, and they were one of our first sponsors at the Spare Bedroom. So when we reached out to them to be a part of Getty's Live on Stage, Gia and I's wedding spectacular, they couldn't say no. They've harnessed the immense power of AI to make PC gaming unlike anything you or anyone else has experienced before. NVIDIA DLSS 3.5 is one of those advanced techs. It multiplies game performance and it allows you to immerse yourself in the most advanced graphics possible, like full ray tracing and realistic lighting. New features on GeForce RTX's powerful 40 series cards, like AI-enabled DLSS frame generation and DLSS ray reconstruction, put you in the game like never before. And NVIDIA Reflex reduces the latency in your gaming PC and gives you a competitive edge by reducing the time from click to on-screen action. The future is bright. Take it from all of us here at Kind of Funny. It's the best time ever to game on PC, and it's only going to get better from here, especially with NVIDIA and the awesome promise of GeForce RTX. This episode's brought to you by BetterHelp. We all carry around different stressors, big and small. I'm currently planning a wedding, so I know all about that. But when we keep them bottled up, it can start to affect us negatively. Therapy helps you find your strengths so you can ditch the extreme resolutions and make changes that really stick. You can get out of your negative thought cycles and find some mental and emotional peace, and it can give you the tools to find more balance in your life so you can keep supporting others without leaving yourself behind. Some of my best friends use BetterHelp and love how helpful it can be for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself, and it isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapist at any time for no additional charge. Celebrate the progress you've already made. Visit betterhelp.com/kindoffunny today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/kindoffunny.
Tim's still peeing.
Yeah.
He is.
You're so right about that. Of like him breaking down that intro right now just kind of blew my mind because like to be able to
It's
think
all
about
happening.
Yeah.
I was waiting for Jen to finish in the bathroom, right? And we came in with like 3 minutes on the clock, but then I'm talking to people and I did
100%.
I didn't get to watch it like I like to watch Alamo Drafthouse, openings
Yes.
where it's like, oh, this is so I just looked up at one point, I'm like, oh, the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
And it wasn't like, I take it for granted living here and working with Tim for as long as I have, of course, what it would mean to work and live and love and fall in love with somebody who's from the same place you are, right? I gave up that kind of thing so long ago that I don't even think about it, let alone my wife's from another country.
Yeah.
So like during their vows, when they really started dialing into SF and how much they love SF, obviously I know how much Tim loves SF. Obviously I know how much Gia, but it's not like when you go out to dinner with them, that's all they talk about.
Yeah.
So when they were really getting into that, I was like, oh, this is fucking cool. But yeah, I totally missed all the narrative threads leading up to it just because of how life is and how it went.
Yeah, no, I did notice the Tony Hawk thing. That
And
was
the
most
dance floor
important.
was so popular.
Oh, so
The dance floor was so
man.
We should have
cool.
kept
When
it.
you
We should have
walked out,
kept
Can we
it.
just
we
have
should
it
keep that.
permanently?
We should have kept it. I talked to Nick. We had some conversations. We figured it out.
I was also talking to them, being like, "So you ever try to like connect this to Companion or?"
Yeah, going into this
Real
all
life
too,
DDR
like
on the dance floor.
I know. There we go. My life's weird because like I'm Tim, but then I'm also kind of funny, and it's like anytime I'm trying to do something, I'm like, there's nothing in my life that I'm trying to do that wouldn't benefit kind of funny.
Yeah.
Only because of what kind of funny is.
Yeah.
In any other world, that wouldn't be the case. But I'm like, I don't want to invest in things. My money, kind of funny's money, anything otherwise, like in between, without thinking about like, can we turn this into something better?
Yeah.
And so every step of the way, I had the conversations with Greg and Nick and Kevin and people just like, all right, should we rent this? Should we buy this? Like anything in between? And like, there's a lot of things that I'm like, oh, we should have bought it. Like we should have fucking bought it. And the dance floor, not necessarily one of them, but it was cool as hell.
So
It was.
so
It was so
cool.
cool.
Yeah, this space is very, very viable for live events.
Yeah.
And we learned that.
And that was the wildest part is that you and I had the conversations of when you had the fire marshal, right, come in here and like figure out how many people. What's the number that they ended up going for?
They didn't even give me an actual
Okay.
number, but they were like, I don't want to say it right now, but
okay.
but I just because like, who knows where
Sure.
things will land. But
1,000.
it was way more than I
Yeah.
ever would have. I thought they were gonna be like, oh, you can have 50 people.
Yeah,
here.
no, you and I kind of like figuring out like, oh, can this amount of people fit in here? We're
Yeah.
like, there's no, I get maybe. And
No,
then
and-
seeing everyone, it's like, oh, this
So
worked.
my wedding ended up being 170, like somewhere between 160 and 170. I don't know the final count, but it's at least 160. And it did not feel that way.
Not at all.
No.
You
Yeah.
did such a great job of doing that. And again, like not knowing anything. And again, this is going to crisscross a bunch. Not knowing anything, hearing the number 170, picturing our place, but then and like talking to people and being like, well, when we had mentioned it, you had mentioned there'd be the dance floor in here, but there'd be like, we could hang out there. But then I knew we were doing something in the parking lot. I'm sure it won't be that crowd or whatever. Pulling up. And again, then the narrative thread of San Francisco, where it was like from the jump, when you had put up the billboard, and I think when the save the date posters, because you do posters for
So
your save
cool.
the date
With
So
the
sick.
tickets.
with the
so
tickets
fucking
went
cool.
out, and it was like, oh, you're doing the Muni theme. That's really cool. Getting here and having the Chronicle like newspaper box, but having it be the
But then also having the graffiti on the ground, like so fucking cool.
It was like so like even from the outside again, and it's taking a step back and looking, it was like when we pulled up and there was security out front,
Yep.
there were tents and stuff. I was like, oh, this is fucking cool.
Yeah.
this is fucking cool.
I was talking to
yeah.
that's so sick. Yeah. I was talking to one of the people that helped make this happen. I forget their name.
Douglas?
Yeah, Douglas. Yeah, I was talking to Douglas, and I was like, "Hey, I work here." I was like, "This feels like an HGTV show of like, oh my god, like you came into my house and you moved everything around. Is this really my house?" Like, I always thought that was such bullshit. I'm like, no way, you would not have that reaction. I was like, oh my god, the fridge is right there.
When
like
we
that's wild.
When we walked in the front roll door and it was like the lounge,
Oh,
and
so
I
cool.
was like, holy! I took a photo and it looks like shit. It doesn't do anything justice of like what it was. And I think as soon as I did that, the wedding planner walked by and I grabbed him. Like I know he didn't remember me. I was like, you fucking killed this.
Yep.
You know, he was in the middle of a million things, but I was
Yeah.
like, this is insane.
And the wedding planner is Gia's family. Like
That's
it's
awesome.
Gia's cousin's husband. So like he is family.
Yeah.
And we knew that day one that I was like, look, I got the production. Me and Kev, we're good. but we need some help. I don't want to rent a tent. I don't want to think about any of that shit. So there was a traditional wedding on top of all the shenanigans that everyone got to see that you all got to be a part of. And now here's some of the shout outs. Kev, can you bring that picture up again from Campfire? Campfire, one of the earliest people that I worked with. Incredible. He was at the wedding.
Yes.
I got to meet him for the first time.
Very sweet human being.
Oh, that's crazy that you
Brought
hadn't met him before.
Ben
know.
a monster truck.
Aw.
Very nice young man.
Oh, that's so cute.
That's very sweet.
Nick's amazing.
Josh Paduga brought nothing.
And he did so much great work for us, but he made the Getty's logo, which is based on the Muni, which is the San Francisco kind of bus line stuff. That's where all the kind of the orange lines and blue lines came from. Early on, we're it's me. So I gave a lot of direction of all the dumb shit that I want. But Nick is able to take that and turn it into a vision that I can use across everything we do. So we have the lines going. Orange represented Gia, blue represented me. And we got the billboard. We got the bars having their unique things going on. We had pizza
And again,
boxes.
if you aren't familiar of to drive it home, what SF, thank you, Kevin, of what the Muni logo looks like, it looks like the Gettys. And again, when you are trying to figure out what Muni line to run, it is the letter in a solid colored circle. So when you look back at the images of Nick stuff from Campfire Design, you see that TIMGIA are represented by their own colored it's it is so well done, let alone the save the date that looks like the Muni ticket. Fucking crushed it.
Yeah, we went very hard. And the pizza boxes at the welcome event the night before.
So
we were
cool.
so
Well
Surprise,
done.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's when
Yeah.
it was okay. Okay,
That was the hint.
This is what we're getting into. Because then to get there,
'Cause
the Moose Lounge.
I don't think we've talked about this. The fact that you guys didn't tell anybody, essentially except for Kevin, anything about this wedding.
And that goes back to I wanted this to not be about Kind of Funny, but in the flip of that, I wanted to, for the first time ever since I've known Kind of Funny, I wanted this to be a surprise to you. I want to put on a show for you guys. And I was so heartwarmed by the response.
That was one of the things, Jen, the day of, kept saying, I feel nervous.
Yep.
And I'm like, no, it's excitement. And I'm like, I feel it too, of I've never gotten to go to a Kind of Funny live where I don't know anything,
Yeah.
where I don't know what I'm getting. I know what I have the idea, and I know this kind of thing. Even the interviews at the front, right? I remember you bringing in one or two people to do them, but I hadn't thought anything of it. So that when it started, I was like, oh yeah, I did these. And I was like, wait, no, I didn't. I didn't get interviewed.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? It goes, it was like that.
Yeah, and again, Curran was not interviewed. I wanted to make sure that I gave people their spots. Greg and Curran were not interviewed because they gave speeches. I wanted to make sure it's I wasn't overdoing things. I wanted to give I'm so lucky to have so many friends that I love so dearly and that love me so dearly that I wanted to spread that love in any way that I possibly could. And it worked out so well. I couldn't believe it. But just Nick, again, the designs he made were so good. In addition to the Getty's wedding branding, which I'm obsessed with, it being the Muni vibes, but also for all the best friends out there that don't know San Francisco, everyone's like, oh, it's Sega. And I'm like,
Nope.
I love that too. Don't tell Gia, she doesn't even know that part, but it does look like the Sega logo, and I love that. But then on the right side, we have the Moose Lounge.
Yeah.
So we made the whole kind of kitchen area and even our office area. We had to move Roger, Barrett, and Kevin's desks, and Greg and Andy's to an extent, completely out of the way and drape it off. The studio was transformed.
It was
Totally
so
different,
amazing.
Mike, what did you think about that?
Tim, it was unbelievable. It was a beautiful sight to see. The lounge was awesome inside. We had a beautiful dinner with Cisco and his wife, me, Roger, and Lienza, which was really nice.
Very sweet.
We had a dope photo booth in front of the fridge and
the
kitchen.
photo booth was dope.
sick.
So sick.
A sick neon light up moose for the Moose Lounge next to some couches. Tim, it was all out and more. Man.
Yeah, we went crazy. But the Moose Lounge was our place where look, we've been to a million weddings, we've been to a million parties. We hate more than anything when we just want to talk to somebody and the music is blasting. It sucks. So we made the decision to not have speakers in there. It's they'll hear the music from the dance floor playing, but I want people to be able to hang out and talk and have good times with a bar, an open bar with
Fuck yeah.
very nice alcohol. Let's go.
Yes.
And
Old
that all.
Forester bourbon. Hell yeah, it was all
Yeah,
about it.
disco balls.
I had a lot of
man.
them.
Yeah, we had the disco marks.
Yeah.
We had cups
my
that were
gosh.
disco
Sick.
balls.
It
Like,
became
so
like a
fun.
thing of like, because most people were drinking outside and then some people were drinking inside, and we saw the disco marks and we're
Yeah.
like, what the, where do
was
we
only
get these?
inside.
Where do
That
they
was only
happen?
inside.
And then that's how I got everyone
was
inside.
Collector's
yeah,
cups.
yeah. So we did all that, but the Moose Lounge was the inside area of like, yeah, go talk to people, drink and just talk and have a good time. And of course, we had to have the little Pomeranian with the antlers logo,
So cute.
and that was
I didn't
so
even
much fun.
see the map. Like there
Yeah.
was so much going on that it was like that night or the next morning when I was debriefing with Katie. She was like, and they had the cute little matchboxes. I was like, fuck, I
I
didn't
know,
even
right?
see
I didn't
them.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I think we might do another round of orders because a lot of people have requested them, which is great. Like I just
Yeah.
love that. I love that. Again, this was an opportunity for me and Gia to just be creatively artistic and like, how do we represent us in like the most us way possible, which is over the top and loving and caring and like make things that people actually want. And I am so thrilled that our wedding invites, we sent out actual posters for the event.
So cool.
That were very
so
San Francisco
cool.
themed. And then we also sent event tickets, like this is your ticket to the show. And so many of the old people actually showed up with the
Aren't
tickets.
they magnets?
Which
Yeah.
there was
It's on my
magnets.
fridge.
I went to.
They showed up with the tickets. Matt Scarpino, I love you. You
no.
should not be as old as you are. That you showed up with the
Matt.
entire poster, the entire poster too.
He's so great. I had so much fun with Matt Scarpino. It was wild.
We have to talk about that.
Yeah, yeah. So that was hilarious. But no, the amount of people that I know that have either framed or just put up on their fridge our invite poster thing.
yeah.
It warms my heart. And like, look, Nick Gallegos, Campfire Designs. That was him. You know, idea me and G have had forever. There's these things. Can you bring up the pic one more time, Kev? That's the all the Nick designs in San Francisco. If you see the long narrow thing that says 29 on it, that's a what we call a transfer on Muni, where they don't make them anymore. But my
Isn't that
entire
crazy?
life, I
It's
know
so
it's so
wild.
crazy. But like my entire life, you go on a bus, you pay, you get this transfer. It means you can like get on buses for free for the next couple
hours,
hours
yeah.
or whatever. And it's very iconic San Francisco. Like that thing it's our life. Many years ago when I first proposed to Gia, I was like, I want to get a print of every important date to us with the different transfers, and we'll like put it on our wall somewhere. And then when we were planning the wedding, we're like, well, what if we just made that our like thing?
Yeah.
And so there's a poster that is a bunch of different transfers with different dates that are like the day we met, the day we got Moose, the day we got Toretto, like the day we got engaged, like all that stuff. And we designed it and it was awesome in different colors. And then we're like, all right, this is too much. I don't think people are going to get it. What if we just did one that's all June 29th, the day we get married, as our wedding invite? And I'm so happy we did because like we sent it out and people loved it.
Yeah,
and like
it's
that
amazing.
just felt so good. I feel like I'm talking a lot about like weird little details, but like
I mean,
No,
that's
I
what
love
this
this.
is supposed to be. You know what I mean? But more importantly, I do want to double back. Kevin, I asked you to prep it for a while, but then we moved. Let's do the entrance thing. People are going to
Yes.
be pissed off if we tease that.
No,
and
no,
don't
we got-
actually
we
show
got
your
it, we got
entrance and
it.
go through your entrance.
yeah,
and what you did.
and
there.
and before we even show it, I want to say my entrance. Obviously, I worked a lot,
You did.
Crushed it.
and
It's a
I
lot of choreography.
yeah, and it's been something that I'm like, all right, cool. I've done a lot of crazy entrances in my life, and thank you all for allowing it to happen. That was kind of the theme of the whole thing, but it's real. Like, I should not be here with these people being able to do this, talking about my wedding. Like, so much of this is surreal to me. But it feels earned, but even when it's earned, it still doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? Like I'm so thankful, and that's where I want to be. Like, I feel like I'm at the best place in my life that I have everything I've ever asked for, everything I could ever want, but I'm still thankful.
Yeah.
And I think that that's where people should stop. You know what I mean?
He's retiring.
And no, it's just it's amazing. But my entrance, I was like, I'm gonna go all out. I'm gonna do anything possible because I have crowd surfed. I have came down from the rafters. I can't come up with cooler entrances, and like I don't know that anyone can.
I don't know, man.
Because
This
like
might have been cooler.
Yeah.
I've watched WWE my entire life pretty much, and like their entrances, I'm like, I've seen this shit. I know what is possible, and a lot of my shit is just stealing the best moments. Even this, like, by the way, a lot of the things here, I'm just taking things I've liked from other people.
I liked it so much. I want you to know, even though He hasn't responded to me since WrestleMania New York. I
Oh,
sent it
boy.
to Pat McAfee. I was like, DM'd him. I'm like, you got to see what Tim did.
That's so sick.
That means the world to me, man. I love that. But yeah, no, it's this for me. I want this clear. This entrance is special because at Kind of Funny Live 2, like, I don't know if y'all remember, Kind of Funny Live 1 was amazing and epic at the time.
It was so baby.
It's dinky and nothing when you look at it now.
Yeah.
But even dinky and nothing, we made a set. We recreated our set. We pulled down the
That was
curtain.
awesome.
That was hype as
It
fuck.
was amazing.
Almost dropped Portillo.
But KFL 2, we knew we had a video wall. And the moment I knew that, I was like, oh, well, I want to go all out. I want my entrance to like interact with the video wall and do all these things. And I realized I can't practice that. There's going to be no way I can pull it all off. So I had to stop. So I've never been able to do the entrance I've had in my head since 2016.
Cool. It's cool.
And I finally got to do it.
Hell yeah.
And this is it?
This is
Did you have a version of this actually
Real
originally?
talk.
And then this is actually like, wow.
what I did at this wedding is 80% what I wanted to do in 2016.
That's
That's
sick.
wild.
And I was able to pull it off.
Hit it,
and
Kev. Crank it up.
yeah, please get some volume going. I need y'all to see this.
And I was like, is he doing the final boss?
Yeah, I
walk?
thought so too.
It's funny you say that because like it is, but before that, it was your entrance at KFL too. I started. Just saying.
And this is the Miyamoto one.
Yep.
We laughed so
A
hard
delayed
when this
wedding
started.
is eventually good.
So funny.
But a bad wedding is forever bad. Shigeru Miyamoto.
Each and every person in
They were like,
this
oh,
room
That was crazy.
And we've never done this in the studio.
No.
A live feed on the camera. On the wall.
Wildest
very, like,
dreams. Over the
Tower of
years, we
Terror
have
when you see
all
the
let
ghost.
Tim
Like,
do
God, that
many
makes
things. We let Tim host. We let Tim crowd surf.
And this
We
is all
let
Ben.
Tim win a talent show.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we even let Tim descend from the rafters. But tonight,
The sandstorm.
we let Tim marry. Let Tim marry. Let Tim marry. Let Tim marry.
This was so fucking cool.
Look at this GoldenEye shit, dude. Fuck yeah.
This is unreal.
And again, the time. So are you doing this off of the music?
Yeah.
Is that what your cue was? Okay.
Oh yeah. My eyes are
Just
closed most of
crazy.
the time.
This part, I fucking
So
died. I
crazy.
loved it.
We should have known that.
I'm in 23 different outfits here.
Jesus Christ.
Did you film those all in one day?
Yeah.
Such a fun day.
And it broke me physically.
That's a lot of jumping.
So it doesn't show up on camera, but I have a laser that I'm moving around. But here we go, the best thing of my life.
And even like your placement on the wall. and
Accept
stuff.
the truth.
Antitin.
Who made that?
Cameron Kennedy.
Of course.
The one wing
With the red fucking smoke. Come on, dude. Yo,
I love this part where you're winded.
I'm
You were
so winded, dude.
I couldn't tell if it was a
You
bit or
sat
not.
down and she was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "This ain't part of the show."
That was the funny thing is like me and G, like we practiced as much as we could, but like real talk.
How much did you rehearse that? Like,
That
Yeah.
maybe like 7 times total,
which is
but
like not as much as I would have expected.
in my mind, I've done it a million
Yeah.
times. Like I knew where to hit my marks. Like I was fine. It was more like actually testing it for Cameron to be able to get the placement right of.
For all the
He kind of
things.
worked off of me. Like he saw where I moved and like we knew like
That's
we
wild.
got this. Cameron Kennedy, the unsung hero of all of this. Like he
Oh,
knows.
this is
I mean,
where you-
here-
that's why you
Kev,
made the
Kev,
grid.
Yeah,
thank
throw it back
you.
up. Throw it back up.
Bring that up. Like we used this grid to be
Oh.
able to place where my hands were and where
That's
everything was.
crazy.
Like, yeah, it was wild. Cameron
Our
is
set looks so big with this grid. Like, holy shit. Holy fuck.
Cameron is such a talent, and he knows, and he is so easy to work with. Like, I love him so much. I'm so happy I got to meet him for the first time after working with him for like over 5 years. It's crazy, but
It's amazing.
I just love that anything I tell him, he understands. He's like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. I know why Tim's saying, oh, I need it more blue. Like,
Yeah.
or I needed this. He never gets upset with me for the weird ass like tweaks because he understands there's a vision we're trying to get to. And he's so good. He's just so freaking good. He worked on Moose's entrance. He worked on.
Oh, he was talking about rotoscoping all of the fluff.
Yeah.
He was like, that was way crazier than I thought it was going to be.
my entrance, and he also did the officiant, like all the effects of the officiant. But yeah, no, like he's so damn good. But yeah, that was special. Like my entrance obviously was like a big deal to me, but I had to make sure that Gia's was even better.
Yes.
Like that was my thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
we're ending with Gia. Every KFL, we end with me because I go the biggest with my entrance, and like you got to build up to that. For this, I was like, we can't end with me. We have to end with you. And I had to prep her. I'm like, gee, that means you need to show the fuck up. Like, you gotta like really get there.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of her. She
Let's
really
watch it.
did. And
So funny.
Yeah. Fuck it, Kev. Let's watch it.
If you don't want to, I'm sorry.
No. I love it. Let's do it. I'll talk over it a bit. Like, so
As
this
soon
is
as it came up on the back.
Yeah.
Andy playing guitar. This is the Vanderpump theme song, but an epic version of it, of course.
I was like, this is not the normal.
Yeah.
So good.
And
Yeah.
I love that. In the audience, when it said turn around, I was like the first, and I'm like, don't turn around. I'm like,
Yeah.
And so yeah, G comes from behind, walks through the audience, and we had practiced this a couple times, but you can't practice.
Greg, yeah.
You can't practice without a crowd.
Yeah.
So
that's
we're like,
tough.
we don't know what the crowd's gonna look like, but we knew we were gonna crowd surf. And when I saw this, I was horrified because I'm like, I envisioned a way more packed crowd.
Yeah.
And then when we got to this point, people were not there. So I start flailing.
you did great. We all did it. We all
And I'm
did
like,
it.
everyone get in. Joey,
Nothing
I
felt
had
awkward.
no idea.
there's a camera angle I can't wait to show you
Yeah.
of you realizing what's going on, being like, get in. Like you were so good to jump to it. And then, yeah, it freaking worked, man. She crowd surfs. Everyone had such a good time. She was up there for so
long.
She was supposed to take off her shoes because we were scared about her heels poking people. She was supposed to drop the bouquet. None of that happened. She was just up there, and I'm so happy. No one got hurt. Everything was
Yeah.
fine, and she looked dope as fuck.
Shout out to Joe, who was like, I think she needs to come down now.
Yeah. Nailed it.
Katie Butler in the chat says it was like her walking down the aisle moment. And I thought about that the other
Yeah.
day, and
It
I was
was.
like, that's so smart. Like
100%.
that is
Yeah.
such a
Yeah.
smart way to do that.
Like, yeah, that real talk was the moment where
Yeah.
like, hey, fuck walking down the aisle and whatever. You're gonna crowd surf.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I'm not gonna crowd surf. You are.
Yeah.
And that was a choice, and I'm so happy because she had the time of her.
But that's what's so cool about your wedding is that like you almost didn't expect someone to walk down an aisle. So then when she even did, like it's like, oh shit, she is there. Oh, she's doing the thing.
Yeah.
Oh fuck,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
crowd
yeah.
surfing. Like it's so cool that you're able to meld both of those things. Like it's so sick.
Yeah.
I feel like we haven't given enough of a shout out to all of your outfits for
Thank you.
both of you.
Thank you.
Gia, when you guys came out in your entrance and she has these like floor length sleeves.
Massive
the
shout out
fucking
to that.
coolest look of all
It
time.
was the Padme episode 2 look.
Yes.
Like,
Oh,
which
100%.
was
Yeah.
incredible. Like, oh
Yeah.
my god, she looked so good. Her whole intro had that look,
Mm-hmm.
and the I don't even know what you call it. The welcome moment.
Your
when we were
arrival.
out there. Yeah, I was wearing blue. She was wearing that. Oh, she looked so good.
Yeah. And then your jacket for the wedding was dope as fuck too.
Both
the
of us.
whole look, like, oh,
Yeah, we Star Wars chic is what we'll call it, and like not in the fucking nerdy way. Look, I don't know how I pulled it off. I got to wear the dopest bomber jacket suit jacket
Yeah.
of all time.
Mm-hmm.
It has cutouts on the like shoulders. My chain just popping, man. Like, oh,
I looked at Lance and I'm like, that's a bomber jacket. And then she looked at me, she said, no, it's not. I'm like, I know Tim Geddes. Like that,
It's
no,
a
that's
bomber
a
jacket,
fucking
yeah.
bomber
yeah,
jacket.
yeah, but it's a suit jacket.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
But it's a
and,
bomber
And
jacket.
Gia,
That's
are
awesome.
we kidding ourselves right
so
now?
fucking the cape.
Oh, she had it's a suit jacket, like suit dress
Dress.
with a cape, and it was just open.
Yeah.
And like, what's so funny is like the first version of it, she was not wearing a bra and was just boob, and like it was.
And you're like, when you crowd surf, the girls are going to be moving.
They're gonna be moving. It was a lot, but I was pushing for it. I'm like, you look so good. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you should rock this. And she was self-conscious. I think that the bra actually made it sexier.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, all right, hey, I'm not gonna say that. If you're comfortable,
Yeah.
let's go. Because like, oh my god, she looked so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, incredible. And like the two of us together on stage with the outfits we had, I'm like, I don't think two people have ever looked better than this.
So cool. So cool.
Like,
So
come on,
good.
man.
Oh my god.
So good.
That was
beautiful.
That was awesome.
So now talk to me about stories. Tim's out there, he's socializing, he's hobnobbing, he's got to do everything.
He was hobnobbing.
Mike, give me some stories
Yeah,
from
give
this
him some.
wedding.
some stories from this.
What did
wedding.
Chris Anka do?
Chris Anka was disappointed in my outfit, but he still loves me.
Oh, he was so mad. He
You
was
look
so
so good,
mad.
though.
He was not
Yeah.
happy. He looked so good.
looked
Chris
so
Anka
bad.
really
Oh, he
showed
killed
up.
it.
So
Showed
he
the
was
crushed
fuck
it.
up.
so happy to be here and celebrate you.
What is
This
this?
is a nice screenshot of Mike's outfit.
God.
You see this is the what, Coles or Old Navy? Who is this shirt?
This is Macy's.
Also,
right
this-
here with the
Macy's, and then the Superman
This
black
shirt was
underneath it.
nowhere near a steamer or some type
This was,
of.
this
the
was
bottom
in the dryer. At
Andy
one point,
also had a dope suit. I
Dude,
would like to
I-
give a shout out
Two.
to him.
Fantastic.
And he had a costume change.
What?
Yeah,
and he
he
had
did.
a on-stage shiny shirt
Oh, he
out
did.
moment.
That was so
And then
cool,
he changed.
too.
And shout out to Andy Cortez. Me and him have been ships in the night over the last week because of scheduling and stuff. And he's gone now. He's in the RGV. We love him. Have a great time. He fucking crushed it. He had 2 rehearsals total, same day, back to back,
Wow.
and I just trusted him. And I didn't want him to play the song here at all because I didn't want you to hear
Because
it.
I would know immediately.
You would know what it is. And Andy did not know the Vanderpump theme song, and he fucking crushed it.
Killed
Playing
it.
the
So
solo.
cool.
Oh my god, I love Andy Cortez.
And the fact
so
that now we can
much.
ask Andy to play it for us at any moment
Yeah,
while he has his
and
guitar.
he got it. He got it.
Yeah.
That was incredibly special. Andy is so freaking cool. We all already
It's-
know that, but
the
Made me laugh
Jabroni
so
boys
hard.
were together. We squashed the beef. We got Chris Anka and Nick to be friends again.
Squashed
That was pretty
Why were
special.
they not
Oh,
friends?
don't get me.
It's just a whole
Nick
nightmare
sucks at
situation.
video
Nick's
games.
just so
He
bad.
always
just the
plays
usual.
one.
did you squash the beef?
They squashed the beef. They
Good.
squashed the beef.
They
It was
worked it out on the
beautiful.
remix?
I got to hang out with Hunter Pence and introduce him to Elise Willems and Lucy, who didn't know who he was, nor didn't know baseball, which was pretty special to do that. That was pretty fun. What else, Raj?
Kevin, at some point, go to my Instagram and run through that reel I have of the photos of me, Jen, Makuga, and stuff. There's some good photos in there from the
There's
night.
also so many funny things. We were at the bar. I was waiting to get a drink, and I was standing next to like an older-ish couple that I didn't know. So I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna chat and talk with you." It's somebody that Gio works with, and his wife. We're talking, and it's just like it's so funny to talk because it is such a perfect representation of like, oh, this is one of Gia's coworkers, but their son plays baseball, and James Burke is the coach, and it's just like,
oh, that's funny as hell.
you guys just have all of these city small
And Hunter Pence
connections.
is here.
Yeah, exactly.
They could not deal with.
Oh, really?
This-
They were freaking out.
Yeah. This like family whose kid plays baseball.
Yeah.
For James Burke as a coach, and is like, oh my god, Hunter Pence is here. Like,
Oh, there's
Yeah.
your outfit with the pop and chain.
oh come
Go back.
on, dude.
Oh, you can't.
It's a reel. And
Oh,
you have to,
there we
you have
go.
to
Go back
scrub.
in the
Yeah, I guess you
circle.
could scrub, but
Yeah.
it'll come back around.
You and
Also,
Jen
Greg
also
and
looked
Jen.
banging.
Dude,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
the 50 Shades of Blue, y'all showed the fuck up. You
Yeah.
being so coordinated. Oh, you look
I
so
felt-
good.
On the
Converse were dope
On
too.
the way there was a conversation. I wore an Oppo suit,
Mm-hmm.
Oppo suit, so which I've worn before. My prom suit with the Spider-Man one was them. And Jen had mentioned, she's like, I wonder how many people are going to be wearing your suit. And I was like, I don't think any.
Yeah.
Because everybody I talked to that was more of a normal person like me had been like, oh, yeah, I got a Navy suit. Oh, I'm lucky. I have a Navy suit. I'm, okay, great. You don't have this kind of funny
Mm-hmm.
blue as shit suit that I'm going to fucking
Y'all
rock.
were amazing,
And then, yeah,
man.
Jen did
Yeah.
Rent the Runway again and got this blue dress that just looked phenomenal as well.
Oh, but yeah, pause it here, Kev. Like, we had newspapers, like Greg was talking about earlier.
So
This
cool.
Gettys thing here.
That was your program, which
yeah,
I
It was
fucking
so cool.
the
love.
program for the
Shout out
show.
to Josh Strickland at the back. It had a comic strip about Moose and
the
Toretto.
comic
reacting
is so good.
Yeah, like I don't have it right now to show you guys. I wish I
Do
did,
you not
but
have any in the
I have
gameplay?
some in the
The
lab,
stream-
yeah.
oh
Doesn't the
yeah, if
stream
you
have
got
it?
one, that'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it really in there? That's so cool.
That's where the box is.
The-
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, the newspaper. We want it to be like the
Do
program
we
for
own
the
that,
show.
by the way, now?
Well, yes.
I love it.
We're giving it to Cool Greg, but but that was the deal
Joint
since day one.
custody?
We bought it because we could rent it or we could buy it. And I was like, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna give it to Cool Greg because Cool Greg has now lent it to the studio.
love it,
so.
love it.
What are your plans with it?
Yeah, so
I
we
think
made
it's just a cool thing to have in the office.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Gotcha.
we made a whole newspaper to be our like kind of run of show for everything. So
Well, again,
When-
I mean, you
also
say
an
that, but like
incredible-
legitimately, your program, like when you go to
Yeah.
a wedding and you get the little thing or it's up on a wall, like everybody was able to pull a newspaper that you can open up. And
Also,
it
an
has the
all-timer picture of you and Gia.
thank you. Oh
Fantastic.
yeah, this is
Yeah.
Gia's mom's wedding last year. Like it is the best picture we've ever taken. But yeah,
Open
so
it,
we
show
have
it
this
on.
with all the Nick Gallegos kind of logo and print, everything. He designed all this stuff. And then on the inside we had like the run of show on this side of like exactly what is going to happen, so people knew. And it was all color coded. Is it inside? Is it outside? You know.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, like the food that we have in the Getty's wedding hashtag for pictures. On this side, we had the map for everybody of like inside, outside, what's going on. But the most important part was the bottom part here by Josh Strickland, the
famed.
little of course
Kinda
from,
Funny best
from
friend
Kind of
artist.
Funnies, the little comic strip we have of Moose and Toretto. I don't know how much you can see that. I don't think very well, but it's Moose and Toretto, kind of like it's Toretto walking up to Moose being like, Moose, 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 oh my God. And Toretto says, what is it, Toretto? And this better be good. Like Cool Greg left a pizza unattended good to interrupt my beauty fluff. And Toretto says, Gia and Tim are finally getting married. And then they both go, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And it's like the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life.
So cute.
So,
It's perfect.
yeah, like we went hard in every way possible, but the newspaper was cool as hell.
Timothy,
Yes.
from the chat, of course, you could be in right now if you were a Kind of Funny member. STN Bond says, there's got to be a good story with Cisco.
Yeah.
Talk to
a
me about
million.
this. Cisco, a Kind of Funny best friend,
Yes.
been around forever, rose to prominence with the community that when we left IGN, he sent me a very long personal email that touched my heart, and I still have to this day, and has become obviously a real friend since then. We've gone to his wedding. He's now come to your wedding. But I obviously, I knew nothing about the wedding, but Cisco thought I knew more than he did. So at some point out there, we were talking, and he referenced like, I'm gonna do Thong Song, and I was like, of course I know, I figured as much. But when you started up, and I think I sent you a video of it. I'm not sure if it has it on there. Where I was filming, I was next to James and Elise, and you're like, all right, it's gonna be weird, but then it's gonna get really good. I was like, you know what's happening? And they're like, no. I'm like, you're about to see Cisco perform. But then it was Wild Wild West, which I did not see coming.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot.
You rapped Wild Wild West.
I did. There's a lot to break down here, y'all, because in the iterations of the wedding, there was many things that I wanted to do that we ended up pulling back on or changing or whatever. And of course, it's a Tim and Gia wedding. Like, what are we? Who's going to be the officiant? Like, what are we going to ask people to do? What's the first dance? All of that. Pause it real quick, Kev, because I want to build to this. Like, step one. It's like, who's going to officiate our wedding? A lot of people guessed people of who they thought it could be. A lot of people guessed Han from the Fast and Furious. A lot of people guessed.
We didn't even show like our internal list of who we thought.
Insane.
Like all Saturday morning, we were just like, what if it's this person? What if it's this person?
Yeah.
Went all the way up to Obama. You know what I mean? Like,
love
and we were like, yeah, good
Steve
Could be.
Urkel.
Yeah. But real talk.
The two polls.
Han from Fast and Furious. E40.
Yeah.
From
David
the Bay
Diggs was mine.
Area. Who?
David Diggs.
David Diggs. Yeah, no.
I said LVP.
But yeah, the real, we actually thought about it and kind of semi-tried to get them were Lisa Vanderpump, E40, and Han from Fast
Who
and
is
Furious.
E40?
E40 is
Bay Area rapper.
the
Okay.
most iconic Bay Area rapper ever. Like, tell me when to go.
If you hear his
and-
voice, you would probably
Okay,
know.
okay.
yeah, like any slang from the Bay Area,
ride the whip.
he came up.
Oh,
with
okay.
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So that's where we started, and I actually like went down many paths of trying to get E40 to do "Tell Me When to Go" for my first dance, which would have felt so perfect.
Yeah.
It would have been amazing. But somewhere along the line, me and G kind of realized like, what is the focus of our wedding? And it was, hey, it's about us, and it's about where we are and who we are and our friends. And we're like, I don't want anyone performing or doing anything at our wedding that's not invited to our wedding. Like, we
beautiful.
want
That's
it to
really
be
smart.
like about
Yeah.
us at the end of the day, not about celebrity, not about whatever. And more than that, I want the celebrities, because like I'm lucky enough that there are celebrities at my wedding. I want them to feel comfortable. I want everything to just feel right. So for us, it was like, I'm not going to make Cisco officiate my wedding, but
Yeah.
I am going to ask him to perform the thong song if he's here, you know? But like, that was the thing. I'm like, I don't know E40. If I did, yes, he would have been a bigger part, but I don't. So That's not what this is. And I'm happy I made that call.
Yeah.
And it was Gia that was like, you should officiate the wedding. And that's how that all went down. And one of my favorite things, and I know some people might be let down, and like if you are, I don't know what to tell you, man, because like that, you don't know me.
No,
and
I
that's,
think you played it perfectly because, again, what I was talking about is that I'm in the car with Jen morning of, we're talking about the wedding, and she goes, so who do you think is officiating the wedding? And I literally was like, I don't know, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Because when I started to dream at work, Tim was like, dial it back, but it's cool. And Jen goes, oh, well, he just tweeted it's going to be the biggest thing of all time. Like, oh man, they're off to the fucking races. If he's saying it public, so like I was up there. So when the fucking Doctor Strange circle, I'm like, are they about to bring out RDJ? And then you stepped through, and there was an initial like, and I was like, you son of a bitch, that's good. That's, you know what I mean?
I know, with that, like, I wanted to be clear. I never said it's the biggest thing of all time. Like,
Whatever
like,
you say.
No, I know.
Get
And
hype as
look,
fuck. I don't know.
I know. And look, we judge PlayStation for overhyping things or like saying things and omitting whatever. I made sure that anytime I talked to anybody, what I talked about was we didn't think we could make this happen. And we didn't think we'd get the timing right. And I made sure my words were very pointed because Kevin and I and Cameron worked very hard to be able to pull this off. Like, it looked effortless. It wasn't.
Oh no,
Like,
I can't imagine.
the amount people that I'm like, that I've seen being like, it was a pre-recorded video playing on the wall. No, it wasn't. It was so much more
so
than
hard
that.
to do.
And like and more than anything, I think this is the most important thing. I might have said
Wait,
this
real quick,
already
though,
today.
how cool is it too that you have like haters to your wedding? There's like a comment section that are like,
Dude, trust me.
This shit sucks.
I love it. I love
Of
it.
course
Like,
you do.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious to me. But like, what's more important than that though is that Gia wrote that. I read words that
Nice.
Gia
That's
wrote.
awesome. I
Like,
love that. I love that.
and for any hater, that's all you need to hear. Like,
Yeah.
it was Gia's idea, and she wrote that amazing script that the officiant gave. Cool. This is us, motherfucker. We are the Gettys. Get used to it.
I like that Tim isn't just referring to the officiant as the officiant.
The
and not as
officiant, yeah,
himself.
yeah.
Well,
It's
I like there was
like
like
its
some
own
multiverse.
character.
It might have been. It was probably both in the live chat because I was over there watching it while I fucking watched you guys get married. But then it was also probably the subreddit or Twitter or whatever that was like, this must be the Tim from the universe Greg jumped from.
Yeah. So funny.
Probably he looks a lot like my guy.
No, but real talk though, like there's so much to break down about the officiant thing, but like it really is the ultimate end, and it's not the end, but like the ultimate end game moment. MCU still going to let Tim host.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And like what let Tim
Sure.
host means to Gia and me as people that have like seen this rise to where we are, having this amazing team doing all this stuff. Like I got to host our wedding. And that's fucking cool. I haven't actually hosted that many things in my life, like big deal things. And like, I got to host my wedding in this way, whatever that means. And so did Alfredo. He fucking killed it. But like, and what's funny too is like, I look giant and people are like, Tim's 8 feet tall in the video.
Well, from that universe.
Like,
Yeah.
what's important to note is we shot this and edited it for the audience in the room.
Yep.
Like, I looked life size to the people in the room based on their perspective and how they saw me. Like, the video is going to live forever. And I love that. But like, decisions were made for the people here, you know?
Yeah.
And that could get lost. It might not mean anything to some people, but like, I wanted to make sure this meant the most possible to the people in this room. And everyone else, I love you and I want to share it with you. But like, the experience was for the people in the room.
Talk to me about how you rehearse this with G. Because there's so much stuff in there, and there's the whole like, where should we get married, and the clip around, and this, that, the other, and then of course like such a touching moment, and like the reaction of the crowd for you to go to your childhood home and have that there. But then of course there are the vows, and so is it that you guys rehearsed everything but the vows? But then did Gia come in and do the vows, or like how?
Man, like I don't want to get too technical because I don't think that's a fun conversation right now. But Kevin and I can't stress enough how it is insane what we pulled off.
Yeah.
Like, this studio is amazing. This studio is a place that like tens of people should run. We got it down to one person in a room. And what we did with this event was bigger than anything we've done, but we made it so that one person in a room could do it. And that person's Kevin. And we dialed it in where Kevin and I'm just going to fucking say it. I'm really good at running a show, at planning a show. and coming up with how to explain to people how to make that show happen. And I made a spreadsheet run of show like I've done since 2015 with KFL1, literally using that same thing that I've copy and pasted into a cue list of like, I want these lights doing this thing at this time to the millisecond.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you.
Jesus
Thank you,
Christ.
Kev. Yeah. Like I made this and Kevin
Wait, what does that thing about
translated
Greg
it
sucks?
to the studio. Like Kevin translated it in a way that I don't know how to translate.
Yeah.
You know, like he knows the other languages. He translated it to these things that mean something to him and to the system we have, to that when he hits play, everything happens the way that it should.
Outrageous.
And
This
Getty's
is
Wedding
wild.
Code is the name of this. That's insane.
what is it?
Getty's Wedding Code. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh.
He coded.
Yeah.
He made the code happen. And so we
Insane.
rehearsed that stuff over and over. But what's funny about that is the moment you hit play on something, it's not like it's a video where it's like, go to the next video and we'll rehearse that. Once a cue starts, lights on, lights off at milliseconds, we couldn't just be like, cool, next cue, we get this one. So for the countdown video that was 15 minutes, we had to let it play for 15 minutes anytime we wanted to see what happened at minute 14.
Yeah.
So we had to do that over and over. And honestly, we didn't do it that many times. Like we kind of just pushed forward and it
Yeah.
all worked out great. So bringing G in for rehearsals, bringing Andy in for rehearsals, like I didn't want, like Andy did not know the officiant because I didn't want him to. Like
Even up until the day of, he came out and he was like, Joe, I found out the officiant. And I was like, what the fuck? He was like, no, I'm just kidding.
yeah,
like,
he
I
didn't
still
know.
don't know
He didn't
anything.
know until it happened.
Yeah.
Like, but I made him watch my intro because he was going to miss it because he was going to be
Oh,
backstage.
back there, yeah.
So it was like, that's how much we kept the secret. And it was just me and Kev running everything. And with G, we ran a couple rehearsals front to back, and she's not a performer. You know, she has performed and she's good at performing.
To
But-
stop you there, that was something that I thought was touching. Is that after all this was done, and again, like unlike I think a regular wedding where it's like bride and groom eat and then they go table by like you guys were out in the crowd and doing whatever, and we were at the bar and she walked over and we got a drink with her and she was just like, "What you guys do is so hard." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, of like
Yeah.
the performance and the thing, and I was like, "What do you mean?" Like I thought she was so natural up there and so good, but like she was like, I was freaking out and this, that, the other. I was like, it did not show.
Morning of, as we were getting like hair and makeup done and stuff like that, she's like, I am stressed. Like there are things that I have to like say and that cue all these things that like I cannot forget. And boy, there's a lot in my head right now. So
Yeah.
During-
No,
she crushed it.
real quick, Kev, let me say
Okay.
this and then I want you to say what you're about to say. Like with G, like I know her so well. I know how she works. I know how she performs. I know it all. And I know what we got to prep for and what we didn't. And when it came to rehearsal time of we need to run the show, she was not prepped on the run of show. I've thought about it a million times. She hadn't.
Yeah.
I knew we're going to, hey, we're getting married here. No, we're getting married there. No, we're getting married there. Now this, then that. She didn't. She knew 10 variations of what it might have been that we've changed. She did not know what it was. And when we did rehearsals for the first time, I told her, I was like, I'm throwing you in the deep end.
Yeah.
I'm going to, on stage, act like you should know what you need to know, but you don't. And I'm going to hold you to it because I need you to improv. I need you to
I was
listen to what I'm
wondering-
saying and get where you need me to get you.
When you did the Mario one, she's like, this wasn't in the thing. I was like, well, how could it not be in the rehearsals? Because it's here. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. But now, Kev, go for it.
I was gonna say, well, I mean, that was a rehearsed line. The times we went through it, I feel like we went through the wedding 3 times, and the third time with her, we didn't go all the way through. I was like, oh man, it's gonna be hard for her to hit her marks and hit them hard and with the right emotion and holding the mic right. But she fucking nailed it, dude. She nailed them.
Crushed it.
Yeah, she did. And it's because I know her. And I was like, I got to just push you and tell you, here are your cues. Go for it. And she nailed the cues.
So then
Yeah.
this
time.
even gives me more of an enhancement of the question of then how did you do your vows? Because
Yeah.
those were,
Oh, okay.
those were first times, right?
So the vows were, God. It's so funny because like I know a lot of you haven't seen this, and eventually you'll see the VOD, so you'll understand what we're saying. But like my vows were special because I had a moment that I built up and I added music, and it was the Final Fantasy X to Xanarkin music, and the amount of people in the crowd that popped off, and having Michael Haim and Ben Starr and Imran Khan come out, and Curran come out to me after and be like, oh my God, I burst into tears the moment I heard the piano key. It means so much to me. That's why I did it. You know, like that song means so much to me. Like I remember being 12 years old, 11 years old, playing Final Fantasy X and thinking, one day I want to play this at my wedding. And I got to do it in the best way fucking possible. You know, like that was so damn cool. But I got to play that, and then I built up, and I had a moment where the wall turns off, the lights turn off, and it was just me and G. No bullshit. Just us. And when I came up with my vows in the beginning, I'm like, this is the moment I'm building to. But the problem with it is planning the show. It's very hard. Yeah, that's the footage. Thank you, Kev.
And I teared up here.
Yeah.
Teared
didn't
up
even
twice
make it out of
when
the
it's you guys
opening video.
talking to your mom, and then the transition to the video of your mom going to the hospital to give birth to you, and then this both times broke me.
Yeah.
I was crying.
It was a big moment. And what was crazy about it is the days leading into the wedding, I was talking to G, and I'm like, hey, like my vows aren't ready. Like, and I'm very upset about that, because words mean a lot to me. They mean a lot to her. They mean a lot to us. Our vows meant a lot to us. So it was like, the fact that my vows weren't perfect killed me. I was like, this isn't right. Like, I know she cares about this, and I feel like I'm letting her down. But I also knew I wasn't, because she knew how hard the whole production was on us, and the fact that like I was pulling off this show that like no one else would ever do, and she gets it. Like, it's not like oh man, I'm letting her down. It's like oh, you did this instead of this type thing, you know?
Yeah.
And I've been working my vows for years. Like I've had a note thing open literally since like 2015, honestly, like of just things that I wrote down.
You are my Princess Peach.
And I didn't use a lot of it, but getting into it, the biggest problem was with that moment, I needed timing cues.
Yeah.
So until my vows were locked, me and Kev couldn't rehearse. They were not locked till day of.
Wow.
Oh.
So we had to come up with a way to be able to be like, all right, how do we deal with this? And we did. Like,
But to be clear, we never rehearsed it.
ever.
Wow.
I never tested. I never tested the button live.
And to be extra clear, it didn't work out right.
Oh, really?
But no, unless you're listening to this, you would never know.
Damn, I didn't know that.
But
I still didn't know that.
oh yeah. It was supposed to just go after the music stopped. It was supposed to go black. There was like a second later, and I had to be like, "But you take that all away." And then Kev took it all away. But that was me and Kev talking. You know what I mean?
See, I was waiting for your cue of like, tell me when to go to black.
Yeah, but that's it though. It
worked
all
so
worked
well.
out.
It
It all
didn't
worked
matter. It
so
didn't
well.
matter.
Like no complaints. Like
That's awesome.
It was amazing. But like we didn't rehearse it. Like we couldn't rehearse it. There was no way.
Yeah.
But it worked out so beautifully. In that moment, more than any moment of the night, like Gia's gonna talk about that for the rest of her life. It meant so much to her. I'm definitely about to cry right now, and it's okay.
You should.
It's okay, because like my vows meant so much. I cared so much. I worked so hard on those. I worked so hard on everything. But the fact that my vows hit her, it's like, oh, I did it. I fucking did it. And I think that
Yeah, there's a moment in there where she like gasps.
yeah, oh,
Yeah.
Where I was
yeah,
like,
yeah. I mean, it's when the lights turn off, because she knew what that meant. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, this is amazing that we have all this stuff, but you take that away. It's just us, and we're here, and I know what that means, but to see her know what that means, that I'm never gonna forget that moment.
it was
Like
incredible.
that was very, very, very special, and like I love everything that we were able to pull off. But the two moments that I will never forget were the lights turning off and seeing how it affected her, and in my vows, me. We'll talk about the joke in a second, but me
Oh.
framing my entire vows around nostalgia and us growing up here together but not knowing each other and what that means. And the nostalgia I have of skateboarding down 15th Avenue and knowing every crack in the sidewalk, knowing the feelings. To this day, I could do the same thing and know exactly what it feels like on every turn, and saying that that's what looking in her eyes feels like. I know her that way. And her vows, she brought up the feeling of the cracks on 15th Avenue, like that. That's special, man.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, that's
we
powerful.
haven't talked about that since 2016. That is a moment that was special to us, but that's not something
wasn't
we talk about
planned,
all the
right.
time.
That's one of those things you see, and when you see eventually the video, and if Olive Party ever puts it back live, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's like that. You would almost think that's rehearsed. You would almost
Yeah.
think you did know each other's vows, that there's some connective tissue there, but that's
Yeah.
just organic. Yeah, that's amazing.
And it blew our minds because, and like this is taking it a step further, but Kurt and Shari, two of my best friends in the entire world.
You know them from the other engagement video on Kind of Funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Like honestly, so much lineage of love. Like I love that Kind of Funny has so much love and production and love. That shit fucking matters, man. Sorry, that was me.
Oh, there's a little bit left.
Right up my nards.
No, but like
has
real talk.
nards.
I know this has been a journey and now I'm crying and stuff, but like thank you all for understanding that like if anything Kind of Funny is about relationships and growth and friendship and love. Like
Yeah.
being able to showcase love and showcase your passions, whether it's video games or movies or actual love with people, and even getting there through movies or video games or whatever. It's like that stuff matters so much, and production and all of it. Like we've all been here. We've all done so many amazing things. And I think at the core of everything Kind of Funny's ever done is love and passion. And I think of Kurt and Shari as like two of my best friends that I've had my entire lives pretty much, and looking at them as an example of an amazing couple that loves and cares about each other, and then have an amazing baby boy, Jax, who I can't believe like my friends have a kid, you know, and I look at Ben and I'm like, wow, like there's a generation beyond us that is able to grow up in a world that I hope we've made better. And through all of that, I just love that we're here now. I don't know. I lost the train. But
I'll help you out. You were talking about the connection between you and Gia's vows. And
yeah.
then-
Oh, thank you.
no
Thank you.
problem.
Yeah. Kurt and Shari's vows are easily my favorite vows I've ever heard. And I say that with amazing friends and family that have had vows that I'm so impressed by. But Kurt and Shari's are special to me because they represent two people that are so core to my actual, like, and that's even a weird way to say it, but like my longest friends, my like my most core friends that I've ever had in my entire life, through my entire life. And the best men and bridesmaids were all my best friends at that wedding. And the amount of love that we had, it reminded me of the wedding I just threw. But their vows were so in love towards each other, and they had this moment where they connected. They had a moment where they said things that they didn't plan, and they were connected. And me and Gio were like, God damn, those are the best things ever, and we'll never have that. So the fact that we had it, it hit us so hard. When I said the 15th Avenue sidewalk cracks, and Gia started bawling in tears, I was like, I knew it was going to hit you. I didn't think it was going to hit you like that. But when she said it to me, I was like, oh, here we are. Like, that was incredibly, incredibly special. I'll never forget it. Like, all of that was so amazing. And last Saturday was the best night of my entire life. I don't think it'll ever be beat. And I've thought that before with many events and many things. This is a time that I'm like, I really don't know that this can be beat, because it was so many escalating moments of sharing my love and happiness and everything that I've ever built to with you guys watching, with the closest people in my life, and Gia.
Classic.
Put your fucking hands together, Mike. God damn it.
Always remember that. That was unbelievable.
I like how you did all that not talking into the microphone.
I'm sorry. I wanted you guys
just pretend.
My favorite was
Turn off the lights.
the nostalgia one when you yelled.
No, we don't need to bring up the-
We have to. We do have to.
Why do we have to bring it up?
So one of my killer lines, like, look, at the end of the day, I'm a good writer. You know what I mean? I would never like credit myself that way, because like I hate writing, but like I like words. I do things. And one of my like end lines that I'm so proud of, and I knew was gonna fucking hit G to her core. I was like, the older I get, the more I realize that the thing that fuels me most is nostalgia. And it turns out you can't spell nostalgia without. And I motioned to Gia. I didn't even want to say it because I wanted to just hit the point so hard.
Yeah.
The answer was GIA. But from the crowd, I hear one person. I hear so many people say.
We all yell.
Everyone yells. Everyone yells.
It's a whole
Gia.
wedding, no
Gia,
crowd
Gia,
participation.
Gia.
No crowd participation.
I hear Gia's left and right. But there's one voice I hear, and that I thought was Greg Miller, and now today I've confirmed is Greg Miller, that said, hold on, let me set you up. Turns out, you literally can't spell nostalgia without.
Tim and G. Oh, fuck. Thought we were all saying Tim and G. We're just saying G. Shit, fuck.
Which had me questioning how do you spell nostalgia. So I started going in the background like, Tim
Well, my favorite didn't follow because I know I fuck up in the moment, right? First off, I'm 3 old fashions in. I've been having finger foods out there.
Cocktail hour before the wedding.
Jen said I'm driving, so I'm like, let's fucking go. I got to give one speech. I got it. I'm fine. Don't worry about it. So that
Killed
happens.
it.
And
Killed
then,
it.
huh?
You killed your speech,
Oh,
Joey.
yeah.
You killed
Killed
your
the
speech.
But it's that.
By the way, we can't put Greg Miller first. That's
No, we had to. It was a choice,
Oh,
Joey.
yeah, I'm
He brought
fully
it.
aware.
crushed it, killed
Tim and
it,
Gia.
did a great job.
Kern and I
you know
were
what mean?
freaking out in the back.
No,
like,
you
what the
guys
fuck, we gotta put
crushed
Greg
it,
first?
man.
I was happy I went first because I was worried about being long. But if I went first, I could be the pace
Yeah.
car. Nobody's gonna know if I'm long or short. It's
Yeah.
great,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Love that.
Yeah. But anyways, I do think, and then the epilogue is that we told the story on Games Daily right the other day. And it was the idea that up until that point, I literally been like, I was like, yeah, there's no T in nostalgia. And Barrett's like, no, you idiot. There's a T in it.
There's no M.
There's no M.
There's no M.
There's
See,
no
to,
M.
to see how much like crowds become sheep, like my side also said Tim and G. I think after you said it too. So
It was like so weird. There's no crowd interaction.
no, because we were like all like kind of muttering under our breaths, and then we heard you say, it, we're like, oh yeah,
And
I guess it's Tim and Gia.
I thought the hand motion was to us, not to G. So I was like, we're all supposed to go. Fuck. Shit.
Yeah, I thought
we're
it
all
was
saying
a call and response kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Me too.
Well, it was. It was. But it was
okay.
like, I
Just
didn't want to
too-
say G.
Oh, got it.
Maybe
you
you
know?
should have done it like next time. Do nostalgia and then have it all fade away except Gia. And then we'd
No,
be like, oh,
I know.
Gia.
Yeah, I didn't want to do. I think. Look, most
Didn't
people
need to be
got
that
it.
over.
I've heard the audio. Most people got it. So
Well, did most people get it, or am I just so loud?
you're very loud.
Thank you.
You're very loud. You are. Yeah.
Thank you. I take that
No,
as a
that is the funniest thing though. Is like for my wedding, one note that like I could have never made for myself is I have done so many kind of funny lives. I know how shit goes. I know how crowds respond. I didn't expect the crowd to be so broken by what we presented to them that they weren't ready for the immediate. We're gonna jump around now. People weren't ready to
No,
jump.
they were not.
They just
Yeah,
were
yeah.
not ready to jump at all.
We
at
were
any
emotional.
We were
point.
emotionally devastated.
Yeah. And like, look,
Tim's looking at jump around. It's like, no, Tim, I
no,
didn't
we're not
see
ready
you.
for that. We're not ready for that.
Give me a
Yeah.
couple minutes.
Yeah, we had a couple people. I've had multiple people come up to me and be like, "Tim, like I wanted to jump with you, but I wasn't there yet. I wasn't there." I'm like, "I get it. That was my bad." But yeah,
No one remembers that. Don't worry about it.
no,
We'll have
no,
you.
trust. And even the video, it's great. Like, I'm so.
So a
happy
question I
with
keep
it.
seeing brought up because you brought up how great my speech was, and
Yeah.
it sucks that I wasn't on the Twitch stream about it. It's weird. I thought maybe you'd come back just for mine at least. Are you gonna edit that in to your
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
video?
that's
you
the
do?
plan. That's the
Okay,
plan.
great,
Yeah,
great.
I want to. The video, I don't think it's gonna be for everyone. Like I'm. My plan is to post the full video, and if you like it, you'll like it. If you don't, you don't. But like, I want to give the whole experience up there for everyone. So.
Cocktail hour out there in the tent.
Beautiful.
Sunset
So fun.
with Chris
Beautiful.
Anka. As like the party's raging inside. Me and Chris go out, just us. Nice, beautiful sunset happening. Couple of people just mixing and mingling. Like it was a
You both look at the
vibe,
sunset with
y'all.
your drink. Chris just sighs and goes, "I hate Nick Scarpino."
Hell yeah, brother.
I mean, for like obviously, it's always that thing of you throw a party, you don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
The things I love that I thought were spontaneous, you can tell me if they were very much planned, but it was as soon as the dancing started, we did first dance, and then Jen and I walked outside, and I posted up on the light pole outside the office, and I had so many amazing conversations with
Yeah.
all of our friends that I just don't see. Like I was removed even from the Moose Lounge, right, where it was just like there's this one moment that'll live in infamy in my head where it was me, and I will not name names just in case I don't want to dime anybody out for where their futures are going. But it was several of our guy friends surrounding me, and somebody had asked about being a dad, but it was like one of those like we're thinking about going that way, and I was talking to multiple husbands there about what it's like being a father, or whatever, and I was like basically, I highly recommend it. And at this point, I don't know who, but a couple who had been over here doing God knows what. They weren't smoking, but they were on the other side for a while. They came through, and the girl's a little bit lit, and she's just like, "Oh, you recommend doing what?" And I'm like, "Having a child." She's like, "All right, see you later." Like, you know, they want to be a part of that. And somewhere in the next 10 to 30 minutes of that, Joey comes by and like, "Do you have Tums?" And I'm like, "Are your Tums at your desk?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but my desk is torn apart and thrown in another room." I'm like, "Do you need Tums?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I will go to the liquor store." So I pop across to the liquor store and I get there, gigantic line in the liquor store. But as soon as I come in, the owner is like, "Oh, hey," like, recognize me. It's kind of funny. Plus I'm in this bright blue suit. And I'm like, "Well, I see the Tums up at the very front where like the candy is." I'm like, "I'm going to get a Gatorade. I'm here." Jen's already making me sober up. Got the Gatorade, got in line. And the guy's like middle of ringing. Somebody looks at me and goes like, "What are you getting?" I'm like, "I'm getting the Gatorade." And sometimes he's like, "Get it.
Yeah.
Go celebrate." And I'm like, thanks,
That's how you celebrate.
Yeah,
That's how you
exactly.
celebrate.
Gatorade
I
with
love it
Tums.
because we went across the street to the liquor store, the infamous liquor store, Hillside, whatever the fuck it's called. And they were like, "Oh my God, like, wait, what the fuck's going on over there? That looks insane. I can't believe you guys are doing this." And I was like, yeah. He's like, "Hey, the excited guy that comes by every morning." I was like, "Oh, Mike, you're talking about Mike." He's like, "Yeah." He says someone's getting married. I'm like, "Yeah, it's me. I'm getting married." They popped off and they're like, "Oh my God, why the fuck didn't you tell me? We would have made you a custom cutty bag. Like, we would have put you on a bag." And I'm like,
that's so
"Ah,
lit.
shit."
Blue Thunder over there.
Had it over
we
there.
should talk to them. We should get a kind of funny
We
one
really
going
should.
forward.
We really
Yeah,
should.
yeah, yeah.
Well, the epilogue goes that happened, and it was like, I'm like, this is a great interaction. I don't come to the liquor store nearly as much as Mike does, or a lot of people here, but I'm in enough or whatever. But I forget that they follow me on Instagram. So then I started putting up stuff from your wedding, and they were favoriting it and putting fire on it and all this shit. I was like, hell yeah, you guys are cool.
Yeah.
Your friends like to party a lot, and there was a lot of tequila shots, and my body was not prepared for that, and so
Yeah.
I had to. I know I gave you and Nick a lot of
We
shit about
ran
the
out of
Tums, but-
tequila.
It's insane.
Whoa.
Which there's like a calculator for weddings of like, oh, how much should you get for this many people? We literally got over like between 2 and 3 times the amount we should for this group, and we ran out in like an hour.
Jesus
And I'm like, God
Christ.
damn
We
it.
drink. It was those disco margs. I think
I know.
everybody
It was
wanted
the
the cool
margarita.
cup.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
wow.
did the cool
Yes.
cup. For me, it was me and no, I don't remember. Fuck, I'm sorry, but it was one of the other guests who's probably watching right now, where we ordered old fashions, and this guy was very much like, "I got you." It was the guy with like the Elvis sunglasses,
Yeah.
and then it was like, they're like, "Oh shit!" And he gives us basically a Manhattan. There's no ice inside of it, which
No,
it's
look.
pretty good. And then the other female bartender was making him like. Amazing.
Here's the thing. Like, I know we're going very long on this, but like,
I told Jen I'm gonna be late.
the amount of people that were involved in helping run the wedding, that were like working the wedding, I feel good that my wedding meant that the coordinators, the bartenders, everyone was drunk as fuck. Everyone was
dude,
partying,
dude.
so much.
And they
like,
were all awesome. Even
Oh.
when we walked in and this waitress came by with champagne, I was like, "Thank you." And I'm like, "I love your blue hair. Did you do that for this?" She's like, "No, it's just coincidence." I'm like, "You're doing well. You're doing well."
You're in.
Yeah, they were
dude.
all awesome.
Also-
People
the
were-
security was awesome.
Oh,
They were
security
super
was
nice.
The
amazing.
security, the homie, always
Yeah.
making sure nobody's tripping on the gate. I was
Yeah.
like,
Oh
I
my god!
appreciate you.
Every time they called out the gate.
And
Yeah,
I think he made it. I don't think anybody tripped.
nice.
Food truck's fantastic.
Yeah, that
Come
pokey
on,
place
burgers
was great.
and
Yeah.
fries were
Lucked out,
killer.
dude. That, like, I was worried. I thought the food was gonna be horrible. It was actually fucking awesome. So,
Fantastic.
Yeah.
that was great.
And
then,
really well done.
last thing I want to say, like we touched on it a bit, but Cisco, come on.
Oh, the homie.
Cisco showed up at the wedding, and Cisco and Tone Deaf, like two very
Dude.
different guys.
Thank you so much. Oh, tell your story, but then I want to get back.
Just, I
forget.
love it because Tone Deaf is, if you don't know, and if you're watching this, I'd be surprised if you don't know this by now, but my favorite artist
about it in a while,
of all
yeah.
time. Yeah, I have not talked about it in a very long time, but like my favorite artist and the Q&5 mega shows, which were like the annual pilgrimage to New York, or once in 2007, LA, events where all the fans would go to one place. It was Kind of Funny Live, and Kind of Funny Live would not have happened if not for the mega show. And yes, beyond 300, beyond 200, all those things happened. 200 was a thing.
I didn't realize you're actually talking about Beyond, so I bit on the Beyond like you were saying. But yes, Beyond 200, 300 happened.
Yes, 200 and then 300 were big events. Combining those ideas became Kind of Funny Live. And it was very much like a, hey, I know what this means to the fans listening and watching because I am that person. I know how much the inside jokes paying off in a over-the-top big way actually hits people. And I learned that through Tone Deaf and the Q&5 Mega Shows and through Greg Miller and beyond, with all the ghosts and all the things that, like, honestly, I only know Beyond references through Greg Miller in a post Beyond world, you know? Sure. But, like, I know how much it meant because I was there for Beyond 200 and 300, I'm pretty sure, at IGN. And through that, I was like, this is what we need to do for our audience, our community. But Tone Deaf has been my guy since day one. And he's been at KFL 1, 2, and 3 performing. But he was at my wedding as a guest, as a friend. Me and him have become very close friends over the years. But I asked him to perform my favorite song of all time. It's called Optimist. And it was definitely the weirdest moment of the wedding. Like planning it, like prepping it, looking at the run of show. It was the one thing that's like, this is not like the other things. This is very self-serving. I know a lot of people are like, it was all self-serving. It's like, no. This was the one bit that actually was. But Gia also was like, Tim, you don't not take an opportunity to perform with your favorite artist, your favorite song of all time.
Yeah.
You know? And Cisco's different, right? Cisco, everyone knows Cisco. Having Cisco is a fucking moment, and it was. Trust me, it was. I can't believe it happened. But the difference between the two is Tone Deaf was like, hey, man, are you sure you want me to do this? And I was like, of course. He was like, cool, I want to come rehearse. I want to make sure that, like, my sound check's good. And we didn't really fully rehearse. It was just like a sound check to make sure he sounded okay because he cares. And I appreciate that. Like, he reminds me of us. I want to make sure that I'm doing my best and can show up.
Hell yeah.
Cisco, I'm not going to ask him to fucking rehearse. I was lucky if he was even going to show up. You know what I mean? He did, though.
But he brings his own mic.
Had a great time. He brought his own mic with his own, the dragon
The bling
bling,
on
of
it.
course.
Cisco go.
And he just went. And what I love is you could watch this and be like, oh, they rehearsed with Cisco a couple times. Zero.
Yep.
Everything that happened was live in the moment, period. And that includes Cisco asking me to dance with him and me and G dancing with him. And G didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. But we just kind of did it. And it was great. And then he does his song. He asked us to get off the stage. But in my mind, I knew. Because I've watched him perform. I knew what he was going to do. And I prepped G. And I was like, I know we didn't rehearse this. But, like, there's going to come a time. He's probably going to, like, go like this. Get off stage. I just love that. That, like, I know how live production works so much. That
You've
I'm like,
done this.
So again, I forgot all about this. I asked this and we never really answered.
Yeah.
The Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
You like told Cisco like, hey, would you be down to do something? He's like, yeah. So like, rather than just do the thong song, I'm gonna rap the first part of Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
And then you come up.
This dates back to RTX 2016.
Jesus Christ.
All right.
There's always a story.
There's always a story. We're at the RTX party, and this was right after KFL 2, where Cisco first appeared.
Yeah.
In kind of funny
First
lore.
appearance.
In kind of funny lore. And James Willems comes up to me and he goes, dude, you guys did the thong song thing with Cisco. That was awesome. But you should have done Wild Wild West.
Shut up, James.
I was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, Cisco's on that. I'm like, what? He was like, yeah, he sings the chorus. And I was like, are you fucking for real?
What?
Now, first off, I've never seen Wild Wild West, the movie.
Nobody has, but we've all heard
That's
the
a
song.
lie.
Cisco!
We have watched it really drunk in a Disneyland hotel room.
Do you remember how fucking mad Andy got? If you're a newer, you ever heard this story?
No.
One of my all-time favorite Andy stories of all time. It was PSX.
Yeah, that's what it
we
was.
went to PSX Anaheim.
Yeah,
We came back
2016.
drunk. Jen rolled in a mattress that was just out on the street. I was like, that's
I have
disgusting.
a video still on the save my phone of that and Jen
She's psycho.
kicking the side
Look who
down.
she married. Yeah, exactly. Well, don't bring that part up. That's Bibles.
Okay.
But eventually we got home. Andy like went to the bathroom or whatever. We had pizzas. We went to Netflix, chose Wild Wild West, put it on. Andy comes back down. We're eating pizza. And we watched 45 minutes to an hour of this movie. And eventually Andy's like, I'm going to go to bed, I guess. And gets up and hits the remote. It falls. It pauses. And he goes, we chose to watch this. I thought this was just on TV. You chose Wild Wild West.
I love it. I've still never seen the movie, but
Yeah.
I've heard the song a million times. And what's so funny about this is James told me Cisco does the chorus. I would have never known. But from that moment on, I've always kept in the back of my mind, I love this song. One day I'm going to perform it, and then I'm going to have Cisco come out and do the chorus. So at Gia's Thanksgiving at her parents' house last year, they started doing karaoke. They're a very music-focused family, and I'm just me. You know what I mean? No actual talent whatsoever. They're like, let's do karaoke. Like, Tim, what song do you want to do? I did Wild Wild West, and I did it on purpose because I was like, I'm going to practice this. Do I know the verse? Can I do it enough?
Set the seed.
That if eventually I could possibly at my wedding ask Cisco to do this for the setup, whatever. And I kind of crushed it, but there was like 2 lines that I just straight up didn't know. I was like, I know so much of the first
Where
verse.
were they?
The like after the damsel in distress line.
She'll be out of that dress when she meets
Jim
Jim
West.
Rough Rider.
No.
Roughneck, is it?
Roughneck.
Okay.
Go check the law and abide. And then it's like flex check or get a hole in your side. It's something like that. Like I don't know, but I played enough. Took a lot of practice. A lot of
How you doing,
practice.
Gia's dad?
So with all of that, I was like, okay, cool. I don't know the shit, but like I'm gonna fucking do the shit. And I love it because like some of Gia's family that was at that very small Thanksgiving, when the song started playing, I heard them go, "Oh my god!" Like I heard them realize, like that's why
It's like
Tim
the end
did
game
this.
for anyone who's ever met you.
That was the Thor Dark World moment. You know what I mean? Where they're like,
oh, it's coming back.
yeah, like so fucking
They're
funny.
referencing this?
Yeah. But I
These writers know
because
the
of
lore.
James Willems at RTX 2016, I was like, hey, Cisco, here's the deal. I want to do our first dance, which was DDR to
Incredible.
heaven. Fucking awesome.
So how'd you set up the DDR machine? Like, how did you get that to work
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
thing?
Roger thought it was real. Of course it was a video. Of course. And the thing with DDR is
Yeah, I thought it was
I
real.
definitely
Idiot
thought it was
child.
real.
Shut the fuck up, Mike.
Oh, I definitely thought
Someone
it was
get
real
baby
too.
a bottle over here. You know what I mean?
I
She
just
was like,
believed.
"Did I crush it?" I'm like, "Yeah, you cleared it on the thing," but then clearly not. It was
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Fine.
So
Oh,
it's
so
funny.
you thought it was real too?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. Okay, cool. I'm
I
not the
mean,
only person.
that's awesome for me because yeah.
See, I
this
thought
was-
you were. I knew it was fake, and I thought this is where when it was going through, you're gonna choose Thong Song. I was like, this is how they're gonna bring
That's
Cisco
really good.
into
That's
it.
really good. No. I wanted to do the first dance being a DDR thing. Shout out to the Kissing Booth
Oh yeah.
on Netflix now.
Nick
You can check
Scarpino's
that out.
favorite.
But this song like meant a lot to me as a little kid. Like this is
DJ
a
Sammy.
millennial anthem, Heaven,
sure,
by DJ Sammy. And what I didn't expect was the entire crowd to sing along as we were playing.
It's too good not to.
And-
What the shit is going on?
Oh,
outside?
Fireworks.
4th of July.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. But this was crazy. But like I played DDR, y'all know this, since like the day I was born. Like the day the game came out in 1999 in America, I've been playing this shit. This was my shit. Gia's never played until 2 weeks ago.
Jesus.
And
Oh
we've
yeah,
been-
because she didn't play during the pandemic when you got it.
Oh yeah, no.
was
So
like,
we've been planning the wedding's first dance, and it was like we're in DDR, and she's like, I love that. That's so funny. We should do it. And I'm like, can you? And she's like, yeah, I'm sure I'll try. I'm like, dude, you got it. Don't worry. She played, and night one, I was like, oh,
We're in trouble.
this is the first thing I have to cut from the wedding. Like this is not gonna work out. Like you don't got the stuff. And she was like, no, let me keep trying. And I was like, hey, I'm here for you. Let's be supportive. Day 3, it clicked. And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, you got this. You got it. You understand. We're going to be good. And she practiced every night. And my favorite story is my brother, who lives downstairs from me, was like, oh, man, she's going so hard on working out. Like, she's going to look so good at the wedding. And I'm like, cool, Greg? She's playing DDR. And he was like, what? I'm like, it'll make sense later. But
The whole
like,
thing.
yeah. But she's been practicing and she showed the fuck up and she crushed it. Like
Yeah.
it was fake, but like real talk, we both would have
yeah.
got double A's. Like you could watch our feet. We kill it. We absolutely kill it. Crowd going wild, singing every word. It was such a moment. And then that ended with a surprise to Gia, which was a speech from her best friend who couldn't be here due to some complications going on in her life. Very fucking sad.
Yeah.
But such an amazing moment. Her parents were there, so that was great. And then we brought out Cisco. I did Wild Wild West. We did Thong Song without practicing with him. All we told him is, hey, Alexio's going to come to you in the crowd and hand you a mic. You'll know when to come out. And then he came out, and y'all saw what happened. That was
Magic.
not rehearsed.
Magic.
Like
That's
it just
crazy.
happened. And then we did Thong Song. But what I really love about this is Wild Wild West. Cisco sings the chorus. He has not performed that song a single time since. The Grammys.
I was gonna say the VMAs,
I was gonna say the
or
VMAs,
Grammys,
yeah.
In
Grammys,
1999 with Will Smith.
Stevie Wonder, too, right?
25 years dusted off.
Holy
And he did
shit.
it with Tim Geddes at our wedding.
History was made. History was made.
Wild.
Never
Holy
forget
shit.
it. We
And
update
then
the Wikipedia page.
after that, Tone Deaf did my favorite song of all time. We got to perform it together.
I was gonna say
What-
you did it with him, which is like the one thing I think we've been jumping around talking so much. Of
Yeah.
Like this is Kevin's showing video right now, but like you got up there and rapped it / sang it with him, which
Yeah.
was like even me of not knowing the song but knowing how much Tone Deaf means. I was
Yeah.
like, whoa.
Yeah.
And the message of the song and stuff like that is so beautiful and like so perfect.
It is. Yeah. No, this was obviously a very special moment to me. And the night before at the welcome event, when I walked up to Tony, he's like, hey, I know I'm doing this, but like, we haven't talked about the details. Like, what's happening? Can I come rehearse? Like, what's going on? And I was like, hey, so we're going to do our first dance. And then Cisco's going to come out. And then his like face dropped. And he's like, Tim, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Like, what
Yeah.
the fuck, dude? Like, no one's going to care about me. No one's going to know. I'm like, no, bro, trust me. It's about the story. It's
Yeah.
about, I'm telling such a great story. We're going to be good. And I'm so happy I was right.
Yeah.
Talking to the mic.
Tim, and you're like, yeah, Tim.
Talking to the mic.
I love it. That's how much I love you, Tim. It's like, Devin's looking at you going, yeah, Tim, we're telling a story. Let's go, bro.
We told a fucking story.
damn,
man.
it worked,
it
like,
worked, it
for it
worked.
to end, like literally, like I did so much bullshit, but like that was the moment that was like, hey, I'm gonna be real. I'm being indulgent. Like this is for me, but also it was for G. Like she was crying the entire time
Yeah.
of me and Tone performing. Like she knows what that means to me. That was the one moment that like legitimately, like yeah, it was more for me than anyone else. But like
Yeah.
I got to have that fucking moment at my wedding.
But even seeing like all of your like middle school and high school friends, like the like murmurs in the crowd being like, holy shit, this is happening.
they know what it meant.
Yeah.
Like they traveled with me to New York,
Alfredo, right?
LA, like, oh my God,
Yeah.
Alfredo, Winnie, Vincent, Curran, like Brandon, all of them. I got them to go with me for an artist they did not care about.
Yeah.
You know? Anyways.
Just don't
So
rap the
good.
damn thing. You know what I mean? You're slow playing. That's
Well, I mean, I don't know. I thought
It
you
was
wanted
sick.
one. I'm sorry.
No, I'm fine. I'm not sicko like you.
Fuck
Sicky.
you. Fuck you.
What are you going to
I got really fucked up at this wedding, y'all, really quick. I had my first hangover. That was fun. That was a fun little moment right
Not
there.
your first hangover ever.
Yeah, ever,
Yes, ever.
Never had a hangover before. I've woken up drunk before. This is the first time I like woke up. I was like, oh, what is this? What is this new feeling? I was like, why do I violently need coffee right now? Like, and then I just start moving. I'm like,
Shit.
What if I got back in
shit.
bed?
Yeah, no, everything's
mine-
dizzy. I'm freaking out right
Mine
now.
was I was out there talking, holding court as I was, and Jen walked over and she handed me not a bourbon. And I was like, am I that fucked up? Am I slurring? Am I being bad? She's like, no, but we have a child. It's like, great point. And I started drinking because I was still fucked up, but not like, I was prepared to be blackout. And she's like, you're still getting up tomorrow at 6:30 to take care of this kid. So like, you better not. And I was like, great point. So like at 5:15 in the morning, I woke up and it was one of those, all right, I feel pretty good. Let's just do the preemptive Advil and let's chug this water, go back to sleep for an hour. And I woke up great and was able to roll.
Oh, that's good.
But then, yeah, like you came over with Andrea and John and Anthony Carboni
Love it.
to hang out with Ben and Jen and have a brunch or whatever. And then you guys were going up for wine country. I was like, great, because it was like you guys left. Carboni came back to our house, and we were all prepared to nap in separate rooms. You know what I mean? But we hung out, we chat. Dagger was there. We got to hang out.
Oh, yeah.
He hung out with
He's
Cole.
so
It was a
fluffy
great,
right now.
great time. They did not care for one another.
No, you guys. I feel like you all have like people dogs who don't really. Care
Yeah,
about
they're not like dog.
dogs.
It wasn't that they were enemies. There was just like
Yeah.
there was no interest of like Cole's like, oh, you're in my house, cool. There was no big deal or whatever.
Yeah.
We all just hung out and ate pastries.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
bought way too many bottles of wine.
I could talk about my wedding forever, but we didn't talk about the dogs' entrances enough. Like you'll see,
great.
but like I loved that they got the
And
entrances.
another thing in the car, like we're driving, and Jen's like, "Do you think Moose and Trent?" I'm like, "Babe, yeah, they're gonna be there." And sure,
Yeah.
I see. As soon as we got there, they were on leashes with like
With their little
suits
suits.
on and
They
stuff.
look
I was
so
like, "Yeah."
cute. It was who was it that got the cute picture of the two boys with the
Joe.
Joe got with the newspaper, and then like Andrea's dress and Katie's dress in the background that like
Yeah.
looked so perfect.
Oh, I
Yeah.
loved it so much. You guys will see. I promise you, I'm gonna make the best edit ever.
2026.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, soon-ish, at some point. But yeah, it's gonna be good. You'll see.
Under promise, over deliver. All
Love
right,
that.
2026.
Yep.
That's what we'll say. Don't worry
2026.
about it. Congratulations,
Incredible.
Thank you.
Tim. We love you. We're proud of you, as I said in my speech. We're very, very proud of you for multiple reasons, but of
Yeah.
course for having such an amazing wedding.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you're proud of us for a longer Kind of Funny podcast than usual. We had to get all these stories in there and talk to you. Eventually, Nick and Andy will be back, and maybe they'll have more to say. Because I'll tell you what, I said it on the shows, but Andy and Blessing dressed so well. Everyone was dressed well. Joey, you had a fantastic dress.
Thank you.
I'm not trying to take away from everybody. And honestly, we already knew. I guess that's the real thing. I'm throwing Blessing in because I always compliment Blessing. He always looks good. Andy, come on now. He
Crushed
always
it.
looks like he's a guy going to get a vasectomy. But this guy today, he showed up looking like $1 million goddamn
killed it.
dollars for this. You know what I mean?
So specific.
He's all, well, somebody called me out on it once, and I was like, what do you mean? They're like, oh, yeah, big sweatshirt and sweatpants. I'm like, yeah, that looks like Andy. That definitely looks like he's about to go into a mild surgery and come out of it. You know what I mean? Like, I can
Yeah.
see that. Andy
I had
looked
to bring
great.
Joey out on stage because she looks.
I
so
know, yeah,
thank
as
you.
you should.
Do I now own like a lot of blue dresses because I had to find the perfect one? Maybe. So maybe for every wedding I go to for the rest of
Do
the
you
year,
ever think
it's
about
blue.
this Rent the Runway thing? Because Jen doesn't and loves it, but I also always think it's a gamble.
Yeah.
Where she's like, I'm going to get it the day before, and if it sucks, I'm like,
Yeah, I was like, I can't do this. This is too
Yeah,
stressful.
yeah.
Maybe for something else that I care about less.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, if you've enjoyed this episode, a longer one, if you've enjoyed everything we've done here, remember, we'd love it if you went and got that Kind of Funny membership. With the Kind of Funny membership, of course, you get all of our shows ad-free. You get the ability to watch shows like this live as we record them, and you get my daily video/podcast series, Greg Way. On top of all that, you get good karma. If you wanted to go to Patreon, of course, you could get a physical item. You could join us for happy hour. There's a million different perks over there. Actually, there's 3 tiers, not a million, but you get it. For now, I'll remind you, if you have no bucks tossed away, no big deal. YouTube.com/kindafunnygames and podcast services around the globe each and every week as 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table, each come to talk about whatever it is they want to talk about. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.